Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. We've got a PartyCast lined up later on in the show, but for now, Aki's here. Aki, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I slept finally, so life is all good.
I am
and
jealous.
I finished another Gunpla, so
Shocker.
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Shocker. How many have you put together this month?
This month? 6, 7, 8, something like that, which is a lot. Yeah, thankfully I haven't had a ton of really super long games as of late, so I've been able to do a lot of work on those, which is nice because on my birthday I'm getting a couple dogs that I'm going to be dog sitting for like a week, and I don't want those boxes sitting on the couch anymore because I don't want them torn up by the dogs. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going through them so quickly. I only have 4 more boxes left. So, yeah, because I could hide the rest of the boxes. Those are the last 4 I couldn't hide. So I just, after I finish this set, there's 4 more left. And the set has 2 left in it. So 6 more Gunpla total. And if I can get that done by the 12th of May, I'm good. And I think I got that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a longer answer than I expected.
Yeah.
Because we have a guest joining us this episode on the show. Joining us to chat about all things PR, Rachel Macpherson. How are you doing today?
All right. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. It is wonderful to have you on the show. We've been chatting on and off for a couple of years now, I believe. We've been in touch with each other.
Must have been, 2020, 2021?
Something like that. It's been a while. You work for the group Neonhive. Tell us, who is Neonhive?
Neonhive is a boutique marketing video games agency based in Glasgow, Scotland. We basically work with indie game developers to spread the words about their awesome games, basically.
Nice.
What are some of your current clientele? Who are you working with right now?
Oh, that's always a difficult question when you're in PR.
Because it changes all the time, right?
That's the beauty of being in an agency. Like, we work with so many different clients all of the time, but it's more just like there's so many exciting things I'm working on that I'm not allowed to tell anyone about. But at the moment, we're working with this amazing developer called Shadi, Lemonade Flashbang. He's working on Doomsday Paradise, which is this amazing multiplayer D&D inspired chaotic kind of dating sims, sexy monsters, end of the world kind of thing, which is brilliant. And also with Modern Wolf on the release of their game Cantata, which has been in early access for the last year or so now, I think.
I'm curious to know more about that first game you were talking about. It was like end of the world dating. What?
I'm more confused that it's a multiplayer game.
Oh, I love talking about this game because it is like the most chaotic thing to talk about, but it is also so much fun trying to find like the easiest way to explain it because it's not very easily explained. It is definitely one of those things you have to kind of experience yourself. But yeah, I guess like it's kind of like have choices and you pick characters and you make those choices, but like every choice you or other players make affects the story you get. So I think like there's supposed to be like 100 odd endings I think that you can end up with.
Wow.
You can either decide to save the world or date monster people or party instead. I think is it in a nutshell.
Party, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. We're all a bit like kind of obsessed with one of the characters you can play with, which is this like kind of half crab, half man in a Smuggler, which is caused much hilarity on the meme and TikTok front, I believe.
Is there a Medusa character in it?
Maybe, I'm not sure. There's definitely a sort of kind of monster character called Haley who's really cute, and she has like amazing hair and she's just dead sweet. There's also like you can decide to like date like heroes, or I'm pretty sure there's a vampire who thinks he's a wizard. I've only played it a few times, but like the amount of, like, you can go in and every time you go in it's completely different, and I've been speaking to some colleagues who have been playing it recently and they've got completely different stuff from what I've got, so it does just cause mass hilarity.
Nice.
Oh my lord, that one sounds pretty interesting.
What one was this called again? I have to go look this up.
It's called Doomsday Paradise. We did the PR for it at Steam Next Fest. And we're still working on it currently. It's not got a release date yet, but occasionally a demo pops up that you can play online. We actually had an amazing campaign with a bunch of VTubers that our influencer manager sorted, and it was so much fun watching them play it. Just the stuff that like would happen to them and like them doing all the voices and stuff. Oh, it was brilliant.
Nice.
Oh, Aki, I kind of wonder if you could run this. The specs don't seem too intense on this one.
Yeah, that's
OS
so
Windows
far, yes.
2000.
Yeah, that's XP. Holy, wow, nice. All right, cool.
Additional notes: this game should run on almost anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at the characters that it's showing, and I've already found some that I very like. So,
Very attached very quickly.
All right, well, I think next time you're doing a promotional blast on this game, Aki is interested.
Very. There's a big buff lady and a cute green girl. Of course I'm for this, yes.
That's Cleo and Haley. I absolutely adore them. They're so much fun to interact with in the game.
I have a feeling I'm going to absolutely love this game.
You should see some of the merch the dev started for the Kickstarter. Like, he's tweeted about it on his profile, and it's just amazing.
Ooh.
Oh, what kind of crazy stuff is in the Kickstarter?
I think one of the most popular one is the mouse mats. I think they kind of caused a bit of chaos at some point because I think they got banned because I think of the way that they like, or you can take pictures of them. I don't know, but everyone loved them. They are great.
Are they like booby mouse pads where your wrist rests in between?
I can't possibly confirm nor deny this.
Oh, geez. I still use one of those mouse pads from Record of Agrest War. It's the most comfortable mouse pad I've ever used, and I keep buying them off eBay because they're comfortable.
Sure, that's why you do it. Mm-hmm.
Why would I spend that much money on a friggin' mouse pad?
Because it's a booby mouse pad.
Because it's comfortable.
Sure.
It's good. I mean, I could get cheaper booby mouse pads, but it's the comfort of the official Agrest War one, which makes me happy.
Yep, and I just found booby mouse pads. There we go.
Great, aren't they?
Yep.
So Doomsday Paradise, are there console plans for this game, or is it just a PC title?
It's just a Steam title at the moment.
Are there any, do you know if there's any possible, like, plans for, like, if the Kickstarter does well, if it's a stretch goal for console, or is it just strictly PC?
My lips are sealed, Joe.
Oh.
I'm not allowed to say anything further than that. No, it's just a Steam release at the moment. But yeah, it was a huge hit at Steam Next Fest. Like, lots of people like got in like big groups and stuff and played it on stream. Like, you should go back and watch some of the streams. I'm trying to think of some of the best ones I saw off the top of my head, but they were brilliant. So much fun.
This looks like a good one. What other games are you representing that would just like, you introduce it to someone and they'll just be, oh, what? What are you talking about? That's a game?
I don't know. There's been a good couple over the years that have been like that, actually. We worked on this really, really cool, like, oh god, how to describe it? It's kind of like Escape from Tarkov, but single playered and also sort of kind of like pixel art almost. It was, or what was it called? Zero Cyber came out in early access in December. And trying to describe that one to people, like, people were always like, but what do you mean it's like Escape from Tarkov and it's like single player? I don't understand. And you survive and it's the end of the world. Like, what's going on? And then they would play it and they would be like, okay, I need to play more of this, like, now. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I can't, it's early access. You gotta play with what you've got.
That's one of the downfalls with early access is if it's a really good game and you get to the end of it, it hurts that there might not be more for a few more months.
Yeah, that's I'm absolutely obsessed with Disney Dreamlight Valley on the Switch.
So where's Jacob when we need him?
I know, right?
Oh, I'm gonna poke him on Facebook and see if he's free. He's our other co-host. He is addicted to Disney Dreamlight Valley.
It's so good. I've been eking out the content like over I don't know, must have been like a year now, and I've still not completed everything you can possibly complete. I've only just started decorating my house because I'm that determined to not get to the end of all the content before the next update comes out.
I'm scared to start playing that game because like there's some game like Animal Crossing will get its hooks in me, and I'm afraid that this game will become another Animal Crossing where I can't stop playing it every day for months.
Yeah, I was the same. Animal Crossing, like, I'd never played any of the other ones. I just played the last one that came out for the Switch, and I really got into that. Although it took me a really long time to realize how the controls actually worked. It took me about like 4 months to get past the tutorial because I didn't understand how to find all of the components. I was like, man, this is taking a really long time. And then I realized it was because I'd been doing it wrong the entire time. And that's why. But yeah, I don't know what it is about Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm so like addicted to it. Like I will play it in the morning before work, and then I will play it after work, and that's the first thing I do when I wake up, and the last thing I do before I go to bed some weeks.
Oh wow!
And that's what I'm scared of happening to me.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of like some games like that. You do just get like totally involved in them. Like during COVID, I was like completely obsessed with Witcher 3, and it's still got its hooks in me. I've still not stopped playing it. I've played it through from start to finish, I think like 4 or 5 times now. I've got a different ending every single time. I still can't stop.
That's a huge game too.
Oh, it's so good. So the first time I played it with my partner, and it was a lot of fun. And I kind of got an okay ending, and I was like, okay, well, I didn't do all the quests, and I didn't get all the people I wanted to get, and the DLC was all right, but wasn't as good as I thought it would be with this ending. So I went back and I actually Googled like what's the best way to do all of the quests in what order and how you should do them all. And I found this like subreddit list that like lists out all the quests that you should do and like what your best reaction could be and explains everything out and how it affects the story. And I literally followed that to a T for a good few months.
See, Joe, this is how I play long games. I start off doing that. That's how I start playing all the big games I play.
You need to know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
God of War came out, it was terrible. I kept having to Google how to do everything, and then I was saying to my partner, oh, you should do it this way, and he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, just, go that way, as if I knew what I was talking about, not telling him that I'd Googled it like 5 minutes before.
Yeah, like, I play a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, and I'll get a list of all the quests and everything beforehand, and just have them out. So I'm like, okay, I finished this one, delete it. Finish this one, delete. That way I can find all of them, because in the newer games, some of them are quite hidden. And I'm just like, yes. And I did that with all the Elder Scrolls games. I do that with everything. Yeah. Oh, some of these take up a lot of room on the computer too.
See, I don't know how you could do that with something like Skyrim that is just so wide open and so huge.
I did it with the main quest on Skyrim, and then I looked up all the side ones to try and figure out what side ones I wanted to do.
I did all the side ones first. When I got out, I did every side quest before I did anything else.
Skyrim's such a beautiful game, though. Like, you can play it. I was quite shocked because I played it when it came out. I remember it coming out originally. Then I hadn't played it for years, and then I played it after finishing Witcher 3 for, I don't know, like the second or third time or whatever. And I was actually genuinely shocked at how short the main quest was. I was like, what are you telling me? There's no more to play? What am I supposed to do with my time now? And, like, you go on and you have to pick all the side quests, and then there was a DLC that I didn't even know existed, and all of this kind of world unfurled, like, before me, and ended up being like my most played game of like 2021, I think, because I got so invested in all the side quests.
Wow.
Very nice.
We have another co-host on the show, Chris Taylor, and Skyrim is his go-to for like nearly every review he does. He'll find a way to tie it into Skyrim.
Yes, he does.
It's impressive sometimes. The
it's scary is what it is, but
that's how you know a game inside out, though, when you're able to reference back to something else like that.
Oh man, he plays on legendary difficulty, and he'll do like naked spoon only runs.
I can't do that. I'm so bad when it comes to like game difficulties. I have to play on the easiest one and then just very carefully work my way up to the next level. I can't do it. Hand-to-eye coordination is terrible. Outer Wilds, I just finished that the other month, and honestly, my partner had to take the remote off me at one point because I couldn't launch the ship without flying directly into the sun. He's like, no, I can't watch you do this again. I need to take the control back.
I really need to get into another narrative-heavy, bigger game experience. I've been hooked on like such smaller indies lately, playing tiny indie games that you could beat in like 2 hours, or I've been playing a lot of sports games, some online games. I need a good single-player story game to fight my way through. And I think I have it narrowed down to either starting up finally Hogwarts Legacy or Resident Evil 4.
Oh, I've heard really good things about Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Can't play horror games, but I've heard really good things about them.
I love the original
Resident Evil 4.
So, yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
I loved Resident Evil 4. I was never huge into Resident Evil games, and I remember when 4 was first coming out for the GameCube, I had a friend at GameStop who just threw me one of the Resident Evil 4 demo discs, because demo discs were still a thing back then, kids.
The kids don't know what a demo disc is. They've never seen one.
Anyway, I was sitting online just fooling around, and I was like, well, I have to play this game. I've got to try it out and do something with it. So I took a break from feeding my chocobo in Final Fantasy XI. And if you've ever done that in Final Fantasy XI, you know how long it takes. I took a break doing that, and I popped the disc in my GameCube, and I fired up the demo, and within 20 minutes, I ordered it off the GameStop website.
Yeah, 4 was my very first Resident Evil game, and it was good. I liked it.
4 was a special game, and I'm like, I've heard so much good about this remake, but I'm still so worried that they fucked that up somehow. Just in some little way, they did something to ruin it.
Well, as the person who reviewed and completed it, I think you'll like it. They got rid of some of the camp, though, which makes me sad.
Yeah, I love
Lots
the
of the
camp.
one-liners are gone, sadly. And I was just so sad, because I'm like, those were so funny. They were terrible, but they were funny.
Yeah,
and
it was
lots of
campy,
that's been removed.
Provided levity to the game, and some games just need that moment of levity and fun. And
This one still has some levity, so it's just not quite as much, sadly. I think you'll like it. I suggest that one, because Hogwarts Legacy, I've heard its story is kind of so-so at best.
I've heard mixed, but I don't know. I still want to be a wizard. I want to cast magic.
I mean, put a hat on and go outside and pick up a stick. There you go. You're a wizard, Harry.
Rachel, are you a wizard?
Nah, not my cup of tea. No, I mean, I like RPGs and stuff like that, but no, I kind of prefer the ones where you can like go fight things, even when I'm really bad at fighting them in the first place. To be fair, it's the satisfaction that comes with finally defeating an evil boss.
Yay for martial classes, woot.
What are some of your favorite RPGs that you've played?
Oh, I don't really have like tons of experience in them, to be perfectly fair. Like, I'm kind of just like a little bit basic on that front. honestly, like probably Skyrim, Witcher 3. I really liked Breath of the Wild. I didn't think I would. But once I got over the sword breaking every 5 seconds, I actually kind of got quite invested in it. So that was a lot of fun to do, because I'd never played another Zelda game before playing that, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. I've still not defeated Calamity Ganon. I've done everything but defeat the final boss. So I'm going to have to try and manage to do that before the next one comes out, but we'll see.
I've put...
Nice.
I put maybe like 100 hours into Breath of the Wild, and I still haven't beat it.
Have either of you found all the poos?
No.
Oh.
Go find all the poos.
No, thanks.
You get a really funny reward.
Oh, I know what you get. Hockey.
I love that thing.
I love that they did that in that game, too. It's just like a giant middle finger to completionists.
Yes, and I love that. It is so fantastic, because I know if I ever got that game, I'd get that. I know I would, and I love it.
Was it like a golden one?
Yeah.
So stupid.
I love it.
I hope they did something similar in the sequel that's even more pointless.
That would be so great.
It's like, here's your achievement, buddy.
I don't even think you get an achievement for finding all of the
No, because they don't have achievements
things
on the Switch.
Oh, I love it so much.
I know, so do I. It's so pointless. Oh, man. What is the most pointless thing that you enjoy in games?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, because I quite like playing walking simulators where you just wander about anyway, so I really enjoyed, I'm the kind of person that is convinced a game is more complicated than it actually is. So, when I played Stanley's Parable for the first time, I was, convinced that if I kept playing it again and again and again, it would learn something about what I'd done, and I would get, a new ending, which, did not happen.
It does learn what you do, but it doesn't change endings.
No, I know. I was sometimes when it tells you not to do something, and then you do it, and it's absolutely fine. I'm always convinced something is going to go wrong if I do it anyway. And I don't know. I get so involved in games and overcomplicating them than sometimes what they actually are. But we worked on a great game last year called Lord Winklebottom Investigates. I think was for the Switch and for Xbox. And at the very start of the game, which, if you've never heard of Lord Winklebottom Investigates, is about a gentleman giraffe kind of Sherlock Holmesing his way through a murder of a Axetal, I think, with his hippopotamus companion. And I think at the very start of that game, one of the achievements you can get is for the way in which you make your companion's cup of tea. So you get it away for putting the milk in first, then the tea bag in the hot water, or for doing it the other way as well, which I always thought was great. You could get an achievement for either which way in which you did it.
That's fantastic. I'm trying to remember Lord Winklebottom. I know we covered that one. My memory is getting so bad. All these games just blend together after a while.
To be fair, it came out in July and it was incredibly busy. All of the announcements that came out last year. It's just such a lovely game. It was all hand-drawn art and stuff, and voice, had voices for each character, and the story was really good. I loved working on that game. The dev was so nice. Charlotte from Cave Monsters, such a lovely, lovely dev. And it was a pleasure working on that project. I really, really enjoyed it.
All right, I'm looking at pictures of it. Now I remember Lord Winklebottom. The giraffe tipped me off.
Yeah, with this hat.
Yeah, seeing the giraffe reminded me what the game was.
Remember there's this really great scene. I know. There's this great scene in the middle of it where you have to look in, I think, through a pub window to try and find some keys. I think it's the only time that I can remember off the top of my head in which you have to actually use your tall giraffeness to move on in the game. But indie games are great like that. They always have little bits and pieces in that humor or characters or even mechanics or achievements that are so personal to the dev themselves or play on such fun bits of humor. That's what I love about working on them. They're always different.
So what exactly is your job as the PR person? What do you do?
I always love answering this question because basically I just talk to people, which, as you've probably guessed now, I could talk for Blooming Scotland. It's really hard to stop me once I start. Yeah, basically, like we work on press releases, copy editing. We advise on devs on like release dates. Work with journalists to cover games. I used to work a little bit with influencers, but not so much now that we have an influencer manager in the amazing Matto, who's just absolutely fantastic at his job. And yeah, basically just talk to people and tell them about how great the game is, essentially.
Have there been any games that have come along that haven't been that great and you still have to find a way to like sell it to people like, this game is a really unique experience?
Actually, I don't think there has been. I mean, like, I think that's what's great about working at Neonhive. Like, a lot of the time we like kind of pick the projects we want to work on, or the games that like really call to us as people, or things that, you know, we're passionate about. I think there's obviously, like, with indie developers, sometimes they're solo devs, so there's always games that maybe have like 1 or 2 bugs or things that go wrong while you're playing them, and that's just like a normal thing now, I guess. But there's never been a game that has come in through the door where I'm like, okay, actually, no, I'm not a big fan of this. There's been games I am terrible at. Like, we had an amazing game in during Steam Next Fest, which was called Slope Crashers, which was basically like Snowboard Kids versus Mario Kart, and like combat racing. And I am like terrible at Mario Kart, so understandably was very, very, very bad at Slope Crashers, and we played it as a team, and I think I came last in quite a few of the races. Quite like a lot last. No, there's never been a game that's come in that I've been like, no, I'm not too keen on this.
Yeah, we've run into that a few times where we'll see a game and it looks really cool, and we'll talk to the dev and they're really cool people, and we schedule an interview and we get review keys and we start playing it and we're like, oh God, what have we done? we gotta make a workable interview out of this game. I don't want to name names, obviously, because that's not fair to who we... I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. Anyway, I'll just say... Oh, so have you always been at Neonhive, or have you worked in PR elsewhere before then?
No, actually, this was my first PR job. So I've been working with Neonhive for about 2.5 years now, so since December 2020. I was hired as a marketing intern, and then I kind of just worked my way up from there. I didn't want to leave, basically. But before that, I was a journalist for 4.5 years. So I was a journalist for a national newspaper. I worked on digital desk and also as a music journalist. And I headed up the music coverage for that paper for, I think, 2 years while I was working there.
Are you into video game music much? Or is it just like pop music that you're into, pop culture music?
Actually, I'm actually into all kinds of music. When I was little, my dad used to play like Prince every weekend, and that was kind of our family soundtrack. But a little bit, I really love video game soundtracks. Like, so when I'm working or I'm just like kind of floating about the house, I listen to a lot of video game soundtracks. So I'm absolutely obsessed at the moment with Brer McCreary's Blood Upon the Snow, which has Hosier's vocals in it from God of War. I just think it's like the best thing ever. I've had it on repeat all week.
Nice.
There's just loads of great things I think about video game soundtracks in particular that just make the experience different while you're playing. Like, as soon as it's always hard to explain, like when you have a song come on and it hits that like crescendo bit in the middle and you're like, I remember exactly where I was when this played while I was playing the video game. Like, I know exactly what this scene is about. It just sticks in your head, and I just love that, especially like with the Witcher 3 soundtrack as well. I absolutely adore the Mass Effect soundtrack. It's also brilliant. There's just so many good ones. My partner really likes, I can't remember what the name of the thing is, but there's this specific like band that does like Mario Kart inspired songs, and we like to listen to that sometimes at the weekend. It's such a vibe. There's tons of stuff like that.
Is it the OneUps by chance?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
I know the OneUps put out a full album of Super Mario Kart covers.
That might be it. Possibly. I'm not sure. My memory is terrible sometimes.
So is mine. I'm with you on that one. I'm getting old. I can't remember shit anymore.
That's what happens when you knew the dinosaurs personally.
Hey.
You get old.
Hey. Didn't know them personally. Just like we had common friends. I'm glad I could make you snort.
We both do it. That's great.
My company finds it really funny when they get me to laugh that hard. Sometimes my asthma kicks in and I need my inhaler, and they're like, that makes them cackle even more.
Oh, that's a victory. When you get someone laughing so hard they got to pull out an inhaler, that's when you know you did well.
I'm honestly like, I'm one of these people that will just like laugh at anything, which is generally quite cheery like that.
Oh, you should check out our show then. It'd be good to have someone laugh at us for once.
I do check out your show.
I mean, I laugh at us all the fucking time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you're laughing at us. You're not laughing with us.
Well, I
Sometimes
laugh with me. So, you know.
Oh, I really love doing this show. It's so fun to do these shows and talk to people that I probably never would have been able to talk to normally in life. I just never would have had a reason to do it. And I've met so many cool people, and I've linked so many cool people together. It's cool when someone thanks you for like, hey, thanks for getting me in touch with Dale North for doing a soundtrack. It's just a really cool feeling that I have friends who are in this industry, and I get to link them together with other friends in this industry and make magic happen.
Nice.
I really like that. We're Neonhive are fully remote, so like we're kind of based across all of the UK. So it's really nice to be able to do a job from like the comfort of my own office, but also get to like be in touch with like all of these different people from across the world. It's just not something you'd be able to do in any other job.
Yeah, I guess working from home is the best way I could describe it. I don't leave my house, so I guess I just work from home and live at home and don't do anything else but hang out at home. This world situation is still scaring me, man. I know a lot of people think we're out of the pandemic, but we're still going through this, man. We still gotta. Has the pandemic and has COVID made it difficult working with Neonhive or with PR in general?
I think definitely. So when I started out in December 2020, which was obviously like the big year it all started and kicked off basically, but at first like going to events and stuff, being able to see like journalists or like press or influencers in person, or even colleagues, was really difficult. Like obviously that's eased a little bit, so now it's much easier to see people in person and go to events and like travel up and down the country. But I don't know, I just think I'm such a chatty person. I think that kind of comes across quite well in a lot of my emails. And I think like it definitely made my job a lot easier when, you know, like I remember when I was a journalist and working with PR, like when they acted more human, or like they were just like up for like a chat about stuff or what they were working on, they were just generally quite friendly. It always made my life much easier, and I've really tried to quite like capture that in my own contact with press or with other people, I think. But like now that things are easing a little bit more, it definitely is easier, because now I can go like, all right, well, I'm going down to London, so I can catch up with this person, or I'm going to be in this place in Dundee next week, so I can catch up with this person. And particularly in the UK, I think a lot of the UK industry tends to flock to the same events. So like if I maybe might not see someone at one event, so I was at WASD the other week, so they might not be there, but they might be in Develop in July, so I'm going to catch them at some point. So it gets easier now that events are a wee bit easier to go to and not quite as scary. But yeah, it was definitely hard at first, I think, getting used to like not having an office to go into.
Yeah, not having that home base where everyone gathers together is such a foreign concept for work these days. Like the world has just changed so much over 3 years.
Yeah.
Like
and in some places it hasn't changed enough.
Yeah.
100%.
I still remember being at MagFest like a month before the world shut down and hearing stuff on the news. Like, we're sitting at Nando's eating chicken and someone on the news is like, oh, did you hear about what's going on in China? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. Hopefully it doesn't come here. We're all screwed. A month later.
And then we were all screwed, and we're still screwed in most places here.
Yeah.
I was working on... Sorry.
I was going to say, do you get to international events at all? Have you ever heard of MagFest?
No, I've never actually been to an international fest at all. We usually just kind of stick to a lot of the UK events just now. We're still quite small and mostly remote, so we kind of can just mostly talk to people over video calls and stuff like that. But no, I've not heard of MagFest before. I'm still quite new to the games industry, so there's like a lot of stuff that I'm just generally not aware of, and I'm learning of like all the time.
MagFest is the one event I try to get people to go to because I've been going to it for 20 years. Yeah,
you've never missed a single one of them.
I have never missed a MagFest. They've had 20 events, and I've been to all 20 of them, and I love it. It is a family. It is a party. It is just a weekend of video games, debauchery. Panels. Well, yeah, debauchery that comes with it. I was saving that for the last part. Just partying and concerts. The concerts are near nonstop. And just constant bands playing video game covers and chip raves, and it's ridiculous. That is the one event I try to recommend people check out every year.
I'll add it to my list. I think we're going to develop in July, which is I think like one of Europe's biggest video gaming conferences. It's usually held in Brighton every year. I'm actually doing a talk at it. It's the first time I'll have talked since before COVID, I think, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but it's definitely a lot of fun going to that because it's always really warm in July, so that's quite unusual for the UK for anywhere to be really warm. So it's quite nice being able to go down to the beach and just like meet up with colleagues and stuff and like see people from the industry that you don't normally get a chance to see too. Particularly because I'm based in Scotland, so it's not always as easy to see people.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere town in Pennsylvania. So I'm far from everything.
I've actually never been to America. I went to Canada once for 3 months to do an internship, and then I came back. But
yeah, avoid America. We're not a good country. We're
yeah.
What did they like to call them? Shithole countries? That's us. So what's your talk going to be about at this at Develop?
Well, it's called They're Just Not That Indie, You. 5 mistakes indie devs make when they try to pitch to the press. And it's kind of a little bit about, like, mistakes developers make when they pitch to press, but it's also a little bit about the kind of changing media landscape and how games press has changed over the last couple of years in particular, which is... I find really interesting because it has definitely impacted on how a lot of PR are pitching nowadays.
I always wonder if I could do something to adjust the way I send emails. Like, I try to be professional in my emails, I try to be courteous in my emails, and I try to not take up too much time. And I don't know if there's anything that I'm doing that I should stop doing or something I should start doing. You've handled a few of my emails. Is there anything I do wrong?
No, I wouldn't say so. The thing I would always say to people in like email etiquette, if I'm going to sound very posh, email etiquette, the one thing that you must do. It's just generally just try and be like your normal self. I think like being aware of the fact that particularly within the games industry, everyone is always really busy, and try not to like get too offended or hurt when people don't get back to you within 5 seconds of you sending an email. Like for example, when I'm emailing you, I always try and do it later in the day because I know that you're not going to be awake at 9 a.m. So emailing you first thing in the morning, my time is probably not a great idea. And just kind of generally, like I always try and speak to press and editors in particular about what it is they're looking for, because they're not always looking for the same thing, and just generally being aware of the differences between different people rather than just trying to do the same one-size-fits-all approach to everything. It can be tricky.
Yeah, it's fun. I think even 10 years into what we're doing, we're still like trying to find our footing and trying to really find our niche, but I think we have a solid group of people, and I think we do solid work. So, Aki, you're doing okay, I guess.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Aki, you did a good job.
yeah. I could always do better, in my opinion. Haven't figured out how, so it's like,
I'm sure we could all do better, but that requires work, and I'm very lazy.
For Jacob, it wouldn't require much work. He just has to go to the potty earlier. That's it. That's all he has to do. And he'd already be doing significantly better.
It's pretty sad how many gross in-jokes we have on this show. We have a lot of in-jokes on this show. We have an in-joke based on the word unique, where have you noticed that way too many people use the word unique in their write-ups?
Yeah, on occasion,
literally everyone. Yeah.
I think it depends on the game.
Because we found a writer on a website a while back. I can't even remember his name at this point, which is probably a good thing. But he would overuse the word unique to the point where there would be articles with like 8-9 uses of the word. Within
just a couple paragraphs.
Yeah. In just like a 3-4 paragraph news article. He's already had 2 in one sentence before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now whenever we read any kind of introduction to a game and it has the word unique in it, we stop and we get close to the mic. We're like, unique.
My editor back in the day actually had to ban like set phrases for when I went to music gigs for reviews, because I got into the habit of using like a bunch of set phrases over and over and over again. Only just because I thought that was the best way to describe the gigs I was at the time. It's such a habit sometimes, like when you're in the habit. Well, I've said habit several times there. I did not mean to do that. When you're used to writing a certain way and putting stuff together, like it does become second nature sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that very well. I used to say a bunch of words over and over at a regular basis. Now it's mostly,
yeah, you don't say fuck as much anymore, though, so that's good.
Yes, I do. I just try not to say it when I'm not supposed to be saying it.
I was giving you a compliment, Aki.
Yeah, but I
like using that word.
I really do like using the word fuck. Fuck is one of my favorite fucking words. We've just had a lot of episodes recently where I'm not allowed to cuss, so I haven't been saying as much.
Yeah, we had some games from the company Outright Games recently, and since they're kids games, we try to keep that segment of the show clean and kid friendly. So it's like the last half hour of the show, no cursing. It's all kid stuff.
It's so hard to do, which is why I'm really so quiet.
I am terrible for swearing. Like, really, I've been trying really hard not to swear this entire time.
Oh, you can let it fly. You can let it fly. We embrace our M rating. You are allowed to say what you like on this show. So.
Oh no! What if my mother hears though? She'll tell me off. It's bad enough that I get told off for swearing in her presence.
I can guarantee she won't listen to this show. She probably doesn't even know it exists.
She definitely knows it exists. That's half the fun. See, like when you're not swearing, trying to think of alternatives. Like, I love trying to think of different things. Like my favorite one at the minute is fiddlesticks.
That's always a good one, yeah.
Try to just like get caught on not saying the word that you're not supposed to say, and like try and find a good alternative. I think I'm really bad for swearing, though. I need to get it under control. It can get quite bad.
I can contain it when I need to contain it, so that's a good thing. Some of the people on the show, even when we do clean segments, because we have a Twitch reward where you could cash in your channel points and make us stay clean for 10 minutes.
That was created because of me, and I don't like that. I'm so called out.
It is so hilarious, though, when it happens, and you're like, no!
I fucking hate it. I'm bad. I hate it. It's fucking miserable. Just thinking about it just hurts my heart already. I hate it so fucking much. No.
Oh, Aki, what are we gonna do with you?
let me cuss more?
That's why we also have a channel point reward to curse more that no one has used yet.
It's because it costs so much. It's like 100,000
It is
points.
100,000 channel points. Yeah,
I don't even have that much.
I don't want anyone to redeem it because I don't know how we can handle that.
You'd need to get really creative.
We would. I would need a thesaurus, like a profanity thesaurus.
I would just cuss in all the languages I know how to cuss in, which is a lot.
How many languages do you know?
Proficiently? One, realistically.
You just know good words in a few languages.
Sure, we'll go with a few. It's more like 10. But, yeah. The first thing I learn in every language that I start learning is how to cuss. Because that is the most useful information you can use. Because you can always point at food, and you can always do the potty dance. You don't need to know how to say those things until later. But you need to know if someone's cursing you out, so you know not to interact with them or to break their jaw.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that's the first thing I learned. Because it's more fun.
That's fair. Oh, man. So, Rachel, what are you going to be doing for the rest of the year? What kind of plans do you have coming up? What kind of games are you working on that you're able to talk about? How much stuff do you have that you're not allowed to talk about?
So much. Honestly, so much. So much that I am also incredibly excited about. But no, we've got some really cool stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, we're working on Cantata at the minute with Modern Wolf. So that's due to come out at some point. And Doomsday Paradise, which is coming out at some point as well. What else? Oh, Treachery and Beatdown City. That's also due out soon, I think. Yeah, there's just a part of being a PR is working on all this background stuff and then like having a very limited window in which you can actually talk about the stuff that you're working on because everyone knows about it until you move on to the next thing. Yeah, for the rest of the year we'll just keep working on games, going to events, and just I don't know, having fun. We're quite a close-knit group, and like it's always good to like chat nonsense. That's how we get around working remote, is that we do just have times to chat absolute nonsense and talk about games recommendations and stuff like that.
What kind of recommendations would you be given right now? What games should we be playing right now?
Oh, good question. What have I been playing recently that's not Disney Dreamlight Valley? Oh my goodness. I should have thought about this earlier. Everyone always asks me this and then I never have an answer for it. What have I been playing recently?
Sticking with Disney Dreamlight Valley, I guess.
Probably. I really want to play. I've had Spider-Man Miles Morales sitting on my PlayStation for an eon, so I might play that later. But the one thing I always recommend to people if they've never played it, and it's basically my favorite game ever, is What Remains of Edith Finch. I am completely obsessed with that game.
Reviewed it.
So good.
It was
so
pretty
good.
great.
So good. I don't know what it is about it. I can play it again and again and again, and it's just, I don't know, so good.
I don't think I've played that one. I'll have to put that on my list.
You haven't played that?
I don't think so.
Wow.
It's brilliant. What Remains of Edith Finch, and then The Beginner's Guide. That's my back-to-back Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I haven't played. We cover so much on this show that it's impossible to play everything. It's like, Aki, you get 2-3 games a week. Jacob will get 3 games a week. Pernell, Chris, Tim get 2 games a week. I get 12 games a week.
Oof.
Yeah, because I gotta try playing everything that everybody's played, so that I could try chiming in on the conversation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, but I do my best. All I can do.
There's so many good games to like give some time to. I think like. It's really hard to decide, like, you know, when you have so many options sitting in front of you and then you sit down and you're like, okay, I have time to play something, and you're like, I actually don't know what to pick because I have so many options and so little limited time to play them.
And then you just take a nap instead.
Yeah, or read a book or watch The Last of Us and cry instead.
Yeah, see, I've never had this issue because I always have games that I have to work on for review, so it's like I just am like, okay, I need to play this today, and that's I don't question what I want to play. I question what I need to play.
I don't know what it is. Like, I've been playing Pokemon Heart Gold for, I think, just over a year now, and I've still not finished it. Because I keep putting it down and then playing something else. Mass Effect 2, I think I'm about, like, half an hour into that. And that's the one everyone says is, like, the best one. So I'm I'm just completely, like, get distracted by other stuff, and then I go and play that, and then I come back to it again. I'm really excited about Mass Effect 2 though, just so I can play with my space boyfriend. That's all I want. Just want to see my space boyfriend.
Oh man. So what's coming up that you're not working on? Like what games are you excited about?
I'm quite excited about this new Star Wars game. I played the first one. I didn't finish the first one, but I've heard
It's so
good things about the second one. And I just love the guy that plays the main guy. I can't remember his name. Cameron something. I think it'll be great.
Monahan, I think.
Yeah, that's his name. Star Wars has like such a special like place for me. I just love so much about it. Not as much of a huge fan of the new films, I think, as a lot of other people are. But
there's people who are fans of the new films.
You should try talking to some of the people who I'm friends with. My God. But
I'm so sorry. You deserve better.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you have a little brother whose first introduction to Star Wars was The Phantom Menace. I think I can quote that film line for line.
I'm so sorry.
You love
What's
that
your
film
favorite
so
Jar Jar line?
Oh God, no. I'm not going back
when
there.
he goes Misa.
No.
My heart hurts now. Thank you.
God.
You're welcome.
I aim to please. So yeah, that new Star Wars game I'm really excited about. I'm intrigued by the new Breath of the Wild game. I don't know, sometimes I get this way where like new big games are coming out and everyone's really excited about them, and then I'm kind of like, okay, I'll maybe wait until everyone else has played it and then I'll play it. I don't know. I usually come to things like 2 or 3 years after everyone else has gotten excited about them and finished them. So
there were 2 games coming out that I was like unbelievably excited for, and all my joy went out the window when they finally announced them. It was the Mega Man Battle Network collection and the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series. And the one thing they both have in common is they both skipped Xbox.
Oh, that is painful.
Yeah. So
I heard good things about this new Final Fantasy game, though. Everyone seems really excited about it. I've never played a Final Fantasy game, but I've heard this one's supposed to be really good.
yeah, there's Final Fantasy 16, another one skipping Xbox. Yay.
That's all Square does anymore, though, so it sucks.
It's hard being an Xbox fan sometimes.
I made the Traitors change over to PlayStation not that long ago, actually, so...
Did you?
I've abandoned the Xbox. Yeah, I used to have an Xbox 360, and that was what I used to play on while I got shouted at for being really bad at Halo Online.
Yeah, I remember those days. I need to go back to those days, because I still need to do Infinite.
Yeah, I just...
Infinite too.
I can't with shooter games. I'm so bad at them. Really, really bad at them. My brother once killed me 75 times to 1 on a Halo game.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you know, you just get to that point where you're like, okay, I just give up now. I'm not even going to try and fight back.
When you got the 1, did you drop the controller and walk away with a big smile on your face?
No, I got the 1 kill, I think, about 3 minutes into it, and I think the whole thing took about 15 minutes, so then I just had to suffer in silence for the rest of the game. I tried really hard. I had, like, points of being like, okay, I'm definitely going to do this, I'm definitely going to manage this, and then he would kill me again, and I would be right back where I started, so, shooter games are not my forte at all.
I feel that. I only play shooter games in co-op so that people can carry me.
I tried that for a while, but my pals weren't too happy about that. And they told me no more.
Stop dying. I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, I just went back into my Assassin's Creed hole then. I didn't come back out.
Assassin's Creed, one of my favorite series.
Oh, so good. Ezio's my favorite. 100% Ezio's the best.
I don't like Ezio. He's such a pig.
No! Oh, I just loved those games. Revelations is the 4th one of his thing. That's how I got into it.
It would have been his third because he doesn't have 4. He's a trilogy. I think my favorite so far has been Odyssey because I really like Cassandra.
I've heard really good things about that one. Again, haven't played it. Tried Valhalla, but I got lost halfway through and very confused about where I was actually supposed to be going.
Yeah, you'll get the exact same thing from Origins and Odyssey. All 3 of them. This is the new trilogy as those 3, and they're all different locations, very much same. Find your way in this gigantic area and don't get lost.
I just love the story for the Assassin's Creed games. It's so good.
Very.
I'm going to have to send you a picture of my Assassin's Creed shelf.
Yeah,
no, that's dangerous.
Joe collects all of the statues of everything, really. So,
I do.
Yeah.
I have way too many collector's editions and figures here. I've been trying to collect less of them. Like I think the only one I have so far coming this year is the new Assassin's Creed one.
Fair enough.
I can't think of any other statues that I have or that I got super recently. Like those ridiculous THQ Nordic ones that they've been putting out, like the Destroy All Humans one with the 2.5 foot tall alien statue. I got both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got both of them. I love that
though. Collecting stuff's fun though. I'm really bad for collecting like books and stuff like that, or like special collections of like certain games and whatnot, like needing to have like all 3 copies of one specific game because this collector's edition comes with an additional thing I didn't have before. I'm such a bad hoarder, but it's always fun, and I think like getting new things or like something that changes in the experience. It's what I really like sometimes about remasters. Like sometimes you get extra added content you've never seen before, and you're like, oh, okay, this was definitely worth it. This is definitely worth the however much more money I spent on this version of it.
I totally understand.
You get involved, you get invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel, just sent you an email showing you my Assassin's Creed shelf. So you could check that. That's what sits above my desk constantly. If the shelf ever gives way,
so
your computer's going to be destroyed.
Well, my computer's under the desk. My monitors would be destroyed.
Yeah, and so would your statues. That'd be so much money lost.
Oh man, I hope that shelf holds up. It's pretty sturdy, though.
That's a really impressive collection. I would worry like if I got into statues, like it would never stop. It would start and it would never stop. It would go on to other games, like not even the one I started with. It would move on to another collection, another story. I kind of couldn't stop until I had them all.
There's a few I'm super proud of, like that zombie shark. I am so happy I was able to find one of those because I searched for months looking for that Zombie Army 4 collector edition that had the zombie shark, and I had to import it from God only knows where for like $200.
Europe. Pretty sure that was a Europe exclusive.
Probably. It was supposed to be at GameStop, and they were like, no, we canceled it. Thanks, jerks.
I managed to get one of my pals to buy me one of those Pikachu Beefeaters when he was down in London for that Pokemon festival last year, and it is my prized possession.
You have to send a picture of that sometime.
Definitely will. He's so cute. He's so small, and he has a little hat, and he just looks really happy to be here, so, you know.
Aww. Oh, geez. Well, I know we've been chatting for quite a while. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up?
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head, really. I didn't even realize what time it was until you said that.
Yeah, this hour flew by.
No, not really. I mean, like, unless there's anything you want to ask me about the job I do, or, I don't know, being a journalist.
Aki, do you have any
whatever.
questions?
I'm bad at this, so no. If I could ever think of questions, trust me, you'd be the first one to know, because I would have blurted them out already.
What's up? This is the SML podcast. I have a question!
I've done that before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have interrupted me during intros way too many times.
It's fine.
Used to love doing interviews when I was a journalist, like chatting to people or getting really excited about whoever it was you were talking about. My pal used to make fun of me all the time because I would get like so excited, I would go so red, I'd look like a bright red tomato. And they could see how excited I was to be talking to them. I was like, oh my god, I'm sitting this far away from whoever it is I'm interviewing, and he'd be like, you need to calm down. I'd be like, no, I'm too excited.
Who is your favorite interview that you've talked to?
Oh, that is a very good question. Okay, so I have lots of favorites for lots of different reasons. And I really loved being a music journalist, but PR was calling me and I had to follow that call. But I really, really liked being interviewed, or not being interviewed, interviewing Busted. That was amazing. They started singing The Greatest Showman halfway through the interview, so that was entertaining. Very interesting. I've also interviewed Lewis Capaldi like 3 times, which is brilliant. He's such a lovely guy. Who else? Loads of people. I just, do you know what? The thing I found was, being a music journalist, was if I could speak to someone who was like a small indie band, or I could speak to someone who was award-winning and had topped the charts multiple times. And generally, everyone I spoke to was really, really lovely. I was just dead happy to chat about what it was they were doing. And I think that's what's quite similar about working in music journalism in comparison to being in video games PR, is that when you've got people who are really passionate about what it is they're working on, they're always dead happy to chat to you about what it is they're doing, and to explain to you about why it means so much to them. Which always makes my job easier when I have to go and talk to press about why they should be invested in this game.
It's always helpful when the PR person is really into the game, and when they're shown it, they're like, this one looks really good. You got to check out this part of the game. You got to look at this part of the game. And when the PR person is excited, it makes me excited, because you could just feel that energy.
I always, that first moment when a game comes in through the door and you meet a dev for the first time and you're talking about their game, and then you go away and play it for the first time. I always love that bit, because you never really know exactly what to expect. I mean, like they'll tell you what the game is, and they'll tell you how to play through it and stuff, or the kind of inspirations behind it, but you never really know until you sit down to play it. And as you're playing it, the more things you discover, and the more you're like, okay, well, I know this person will really love this thing about it, or like this bit was so much better than I thought it was going to be, or this bit was, definitely the whole thing I'm going to hook my press release on, or I've just thought of an amazing pun because of this one scene. It's half the fun of being a PR, I think, is getting the chance to play these things and then like taking these developers like passions and showing other people why these passions are important, or why they should be paying attention to them.
Yeah, I can definitely agree that more PR people need to be into what they're promoting. I've gotten a few press emails that are just like, here's a press release, let me know if you want a code.
I hate that. I feel like
fucking sell me the game. Like, why should I be excited about this one?
No one's going to get excited about it if you're not as excited about it, I think. Especially, obviously, when it's, end of the world, dating sexy monsters, chaotic, multiplayer D&D, which I can talk for ages about all of the multiple things about why you should be excited about that. Instead, I will present you with this Danny DeVito meme I made earlier.
Oh, man. Yeah, I try to be human when I write my emails, like, hey, my name's Joe, we're from the SML podcast, we've been around for a decade with way too many episodes to date. Like, if you just put who you are, no one will care. You gotta have a hook there for people to read. Yeah,
I think just chatting to people, and I always say that there's never any harm in asking, or never any harm in reaching out. And I'm always, I always feel really grateful when I'm reaching out to speak to journalists sometimes, when they reply, or when they go, oh yeah, this sounds great, thanks for taking the time out to reach, then, contact me about this, or, they, like, we were talking the other day when you emailed me and you're like, oh, we were talking to this, thanks for flagging this, we've got keys sorted for this thing, and I was like, yes, it's like, job well done. I've done my job successfully, you're excited about this thing, and you're getting keys for it. That is fantastic. And it's like people's excitement back at you, or just generally like that nice reminder that the other person on the end of that email or DM or message or whatever is also just a human being, like excited about video games, is always great. I never thought working in video games would be an actual job. And then when you actually start to do it, you're like, oh, okay, actually, yeah, this is great. This industry is great. People are just dead nice. And they're also really excited about all the weird, nerdy stuff that you're excited about. So, you really find your tribe.
Yeah. I had a question in mind and I just blanked on it. I'm doing really good today.
Oh, sorry. I probably rambled all the way through whatever it was you thought about and completely dislodged it.
Oh, I wanted to ask something regarding... Oh, that's right. You sent an email regarding Tron Identity. How much do you know about Tron? Are you big into Tron?
Not massively. I watched the most recent film with my little brother. Just a common theme so far, really. But no, I don't actually know as much about it, but I know a lot of people were really, really excited about this particular game and how well Bithell had done with it. And the reviews, I read the reviews the other day and they're absolutely awesome.
Nice. We ended up getting 2 keys for it. My one co-host Jacob was really excited about it. He's like, I wish it was on Xbox, but I'll play it on Switch. So I got one for him, and then they recommended that we try finding a second person to review it as well, so that they could compare experiences. And most of the other people on the show don't really care about Tron or don't have a Switch to play. But I was lucky enough that I have a good friend named Grant Henry who did a music album dedicated to Tron. So
That's so cool.
We're dragging him in to do the review, to do a co-review on it. I love when I can just get friends of mine. It's like, hey, do you want to do a review? Yeah, cool. I'll use your music on the show.
I love it, when you can share excitement about projects and stuff with people. The PR and influencer team at Neonhive, we all really enjoy playing the games together and talking about what it was that we enjoyed about them in particular. But also, we're all really interested in loads of different things. So Matto, our influencer manager, he's a streamer, so he's really involved with streaming community and other creators. And David, who's our PR exec, really, really loves Disney theme parks and can probably sit and talk to me for about 20 minutes about the entire history of Disney theme parks, and I don't know a single thing about it, but he is so passionate and excited about it that I get excited about listening to his opinion on it, and I get excited about loads of different things depending on the day. And it's just nice being able to, I don't know, work in a place or work in an industry where other people are going to get excited about these things and want to talk to you about the things that they're interested in, and it's always going to be something that you can learn something new about. I literally go into work every day and I learn something new that I never knew before, and I come away and I'm like, okay, I've learned something new today that I did not know about.
I learned something new today and I forgot 10 things I used to know.
Fair enough.
That's how my brain is working these days. Well, I know about this new game, but I forget my grandparents' name, so I don't know. I guess it's a win-win. It's a wash. I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah, we should probably wrap this up. I don't want to keep you all day. I feel bad that we've taken up so much of your time with this.
No, it's been my pleasure.
It has been absolutely fantastic having you on. I'm glad that we were able to get you on after we set up that Beatdown City interview. It's always good when I could show the PR people, we're a legit show. We might not have a big audience, but we actually care about what we do. So
those are always, I find, the best people to work with. People that genuinely care about the keys and stuff you're giving them, or are excited about the game that you're giving them. I always love hearing your guys' reviews when they come back, because I'm always like, okay, this is going to be good, because I know that they'll be excited about this and they'll have opinions on it, and I want to hear what it is they think about this. So
yeah, we try to be as thorough and as entertaining as we can be in about 10 minutes. We try to not go over 10 minutes on most reviews, but sometimes, we get chatty Cathy's on the show that go 25 minutes or so.
Me. That's me.
I'm not going to name names, Aki, but...
You just did. Thank you.
Aki. Not going to name Aki's name. Chris goes long, too. And Pernell. And Tim.
Pernell goes so long. But that's because he goes on tangents that have nothing to do with the game.
I really wish Pernell could have been here for this one because he was on with the Beatdown City interview, and him with tangents it's just incredible to experience, where you'll ask a question and 20 minutes later you still haven't answered it. Because he's just gone on some kind of spree, and he's talking about like board games and like coffee drinks, and
he might just at random decide he needs to go to the store and just stays on the call, gets in his car and starts driving, and you even hear him going through checkout and stuff. It's a thing.
I wish I could remember which episode that was, because that's one of my favorite show experiences that we've ever had. There was a game that was on sale at Best Buy, and he went and bought it. And he was like, "Oh, well, if I would have known that, I would have gone to go get it." It's like, well, do they have it in stock now? And he looked it up on his phone or his computer. It's like, yeah, they have it in stock. Well, why don't you go get it? It's like, because we're doing a show. I'm like, you're doing the show on your phone, right? Yeah, I am. Why don't you go check it out? So he stayed on the call on his phone the entire time from his house. He was in the middle of talking, and as he was talking, you could hear it like switch over to cell quality from Wi-Fi quality, because it just got really, really shitty out of nowhere. and then it reconnected to Wi-Fi when he got to Best Buy, so you knew he was close. You could hear him standing in line talking with customers, talking to the people at the register, and he bought his game. He got his game during the show, and it was like a live. It was weird. We do stupid shit on this show. I love it.
Took you on an adventure.
Yeah.
To get the game.
Commitment. We're gonna finish this up. We're gonna take a quick break. We will be back with more show. We have our PartyCast reviews to take care of. A lot of games to talk about, so everyone stick around. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. You've been awesome to chat with. Tell us, where can people keep up to date with you and what you're doing?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Rachel Macpherson, or you can follow the Neonhive newsroom on Presley to see our latest releases.
Cool. And we'll have to get you back on again sometime to chat some more. You were really fun to chat with.
Thank you. Well, as I said earlier, I could chat for Bloom in Scotland, so I would love to do that.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play a song to break up things. I am going to play something from the OneUps Super Mario Kart album, since that might be the one that you know.
Nice.
So, all right. Rachel, thank you again for coming on. And do you have any final words to end the interview?
No. Just go out and enjoy the games you're playing and continue to be passionate about them.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. Another huge thanks to Rachel Macpherson for coming on and chatting with us. It's a PartyCast. We've got Pernell here, we've got Chris here, and we've got Aki here. How's everyone doing?
Doing okay, including burping,
Great.
apparently.
Good old belches. Fun treat. We have someone new joining us today. From my Wednesday wrestling group with Big Adam and Tim. We've got Dave K joining the show. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for inviting me on. This is cool.
I'm happy to have you on. You are an entertaining person during the Discord chat, so you better not disappoint me.
Don't get too. You're like, I'm excited to be here. Like, hey, you just started. You don't know what's about to happen.
Like, I've been hyping you up for weeks now. So,
look, you should know more than anyone else what a mistake that is. If you're still willing to do it, that's on you.
Oh no, my camera's not working on Twitch. Heavens, what am I gonna do about that? Dave, tell us about who you are and what brings you to our show.
Well, as Joe alluded to, I am part of the Wednesday and usually Friday Discord wrestling chat, and I am here because Joe invited me because he asked me if I wanted to review video games, and I said yes.
Yeah, it's a really tough question when I ask people, hey, do you want a free game? Do you want to talk about it? No.
Yeah, I had to do some real deep soul searching before I could give you what I felt was an honest answer.
Well, you're a writer. Tell us about some of the writing, some of the works that you've had published. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, God. All right. Well,
no, you're not God. You're Dave.
Don't you tell me who I am on my computer. Leave me to my messianic complex.
I would honestly be shocked if you two haven't met in passing, like casually at MagFest or something.
It
would not surprise me.
Really long time, but we probably have.
Were you at 10?
Remind me, what was it 10?
First Gaylord.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So first Gaylord. Oh God, no. The first one. Okay, so the first MagFest I went to. Here's a great writing question for everyone itching to know more about me and my creative projects. The first MagFest I attended was the one that Earthbound Papa's playing.
I was there.
I don't know which one that was.
I thought that was 10.
Was it 10?
Chris, was it 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I played there. It was
We're old.
Indeed.
We are all just creeping up there, waiting for death to take us.
God,
it's not taking me without a fight. God damn it! I got. Unless the bill collectors come calling, then they can have me.
Where is that giant comet? Anyway, to stop dodging Joe's question, I do write things. I published a book for Mason Jar Press in 2017 called "The Bong Ripping Brides of Count Dragato."
That sounds amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I came up with the title first, and then basically had to write a book because I didn't want to waste it. And then I published a book last year through Okanoga Press. Both of those are in Baltimore, where I live. Published the book last year, February 2022, called The Candle Moth. And I'm working on a couple of other projects now, but I write a lot of like fiction and weird poetry, prose, hybrid stuff. It's fun. It's a good time.
And now we've suckered you into writing stuff for us, and now you're on to join us.
It's true. Well, I've written one email review of a game so far.
Yes.
And I worried I was being a little too harsh on it, but then when everyone was listening to it, it was like, oh man, that game sounds great. I should go buy a copy.
What game was this?
Unwording.
Oh, okay. I have to go back and listen to that episode because what? I want to hear how that juxtaposition takes place. It's like, no, it wasn't good, but I like it if I was liked it. It's always interesting when that happens. Like you try to convey a thought, and it's like I gave you the exact opposite impression somehow.
Yeah. So we're streaming live on Twitch. How much can I swear? Is that a thing?
As much as you fucking
As much
want.
as you fucking want.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Oh, thank God. Good. All right. That makes me.
You'll hear me cuss a lot. It's fucking.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
She's a
I
potty
also
mouth.
I believe I heard you burp earlier, which is actually good because I'm really hungry and I might eat into the mic while
Crunchcast. Yay!
Yeah, I just finished eating cereal, so.
Hell yeah. Very good.
Crunch. Crunch.
Yeah, so I was talking to Joe about like, what the general tone of reviews is, and then realized that I was maybe a lot harsher on unwording than perhaps the format required. But apparently I wasn't. So
no, we're just about honest reviews on here. It's basically like you're telling a friend about the game.
That's more or less.
So if it sucks, just be like, it sucks. It's you know, that's life. Not every game is going to be a bestseller, sadly. It just is
and if
what
it's bad, we'll ask, what would you do to fix it? So
that makes sense.
Sometimes there's no answer.
Sometimes there isn't an answer, and you're like,
there's always an answer. That is a valid answer.
Burn the studio, get the insurance money,
and then go to a resort. Fine.
For unwording, I think what I would have fixed it is I would have kept the basic theme and tone the same, but the main character you control would have been driving around the American Southwest in a van solving mystery.
That actually,
you have a talking dog?
Better.
Possibly, yeah. Why not? Or a turtle in a little fish bowl that he talks to.
I could see that.
Why a turtle?
But the turtle has to be a speed talker.
I think it would look funny getting the bowl getting like sloshed around in the.
Think of the merchandising.
I totally agree. That would look pretty funny.
Also, if the turtles smoked cigarettes, I think that would be.
That bumps up the rating of the game.
That one. Yeah, that gets you in.
Make it a pot smoking turtle. It just hangs out in the fish.
It's
back to Scooby Doo.
Okay,
it's back to Scooby Doo again.
If we're going, I feel like a turtle would be more of a weed gummy sort of.
Yes.
Like I feel like hotboxing a turtle is cruel, but like if you feed it. Hear me out. Hold on.
I want to see a turtle, like animated turtle under the water with a bong.
Animal cruelty. But I think you could just have it live in the bong. But then if the turtle was like swimming around in the bubbler part, that'd probably do it. But if you like got it like a little like one of those little sour orange weed gummies, which I assume is a subject you can talk about on Twitch.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
All right, cool, good.
It's legal there, right?
Yeah, in Maryland, yeah, it's about to be recreationally legal.
Cool.
Later this year. In any case,
I'm going to visit more.
Yeah, you should. Weed tourism is definitely going to be a thing.
I thought Pennsylvania had it too. It doesn't.
Medicinal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania alcohol's barely legal in Pennsylvania. Weed's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Well, they can sell it in the grocery stores, so they got that at least.
Depending on the county, I think. Pennsylvania's got weird liquor laws.
That's why I soothe away my frustrations with Mountain Dew. By the way, I have Strawberry Startup Kickstart Pernell. It's a new one. Strawberry Lemon.
Strawberry Kick? Is it one that you have to do a special thing to get, or is it at the store?
Just in the store.
I'll have to look out for it then. I just went out and bought Perfy today, which costs way too much, but it's worth checking out to see if I can get a soda that isn't ridiculously sugary.
And the answer is no, because it's fucking soda.
Yeah, it's soda.
Yeah, it's all
no.
That's kind of being like, hey, can I get sugar water without the sugar part of it? Not if you're buying sugar water, no.
Well, the whole point of this soda, quote unquote, is exactly that. So now I just have to taste it to see how it comes out.
Oh, that's probably tastes like ass.
It has vitamin C for immune support. So
did you look it up or something?
No, it just says it on the can.
Oh, you've already seen. Where'd you see the can? Are you talking about the can of Mountain Dew?
I'm talking about the Mountain Dew.
Oh.
What the hell's Perfy?
Mountain Dew with vitamin C. I gotta check that out. Then I know they have a Mountain Dew with vitamin C.
Yeah, it's Kickstart.
What is your
soda.
Kickstart? Oh, their energy drink, basically.
Yeah. So what is your Mountain Dew that sounds like a tech startup company taste like?
Well, it's strawberry lemon, so it has a tinge of strawberry goodness with a hint of lemony undertone. I don't know. It fucking tastes like soda.
You didn't go to a tasting? You didn't sniff it and swish it around?
No, just chug it.
Bucket? All right.
I don't swish it around.
It's fine.
No, I don't.
you
butt
you
chug it. You
boof
can't
Mountain
taste
Dew?
it.
Good
that
lord,
way.
man.
I'm boofing. Oh, Jesus. So
Don't
anyway.
lie. We know you butt chug it. Don't lie to us.
It'd be like sitting on a lit Bunsen burner. Don't do that. Have some respect for yourself. You thought your dentist was pissed at you. Good lord.
Oh man, you're going to be a fun addition if you stick around.
I'm glad we're here to steer you away from your more primal urges. Good. I feel like a Christian obligation to intervene.
Aki, what have you created?
Are you okay over there?
I don't know.
Oh Lord, we broke Aki too.
I'm gonna
She's
die
gone.
over here.
She's gone.
Oh fuck.
So anyway, we've got some games to talk about. Should we dive into review?
I mean,
Sure.
I'm
if you
okay
feel
now.
that you must.
You follow up boofing with
Doofing. Let's call it doofing.
doofing. Oh my God.
Whomst among us has never doofed? I ask of you. Twitch, please. Let us know in the chat.
I'm writing this down.
I probably shouldn't encourage the chat to like confirm or deny anything. Like,
Yes.
I'm certain you've encouraged the episode title at this point. So
oh, good.
Oh,
That's
Jesus,
fine.
doofing. Holy shit. All right.
Gives doing a completely different concept here.
Doofing, an alarming youth trend, and how your kid might already be in danger. That's the that's the News at 11 feature about doofing.
Oh my Lord.
It's some middle-aged guy standing outside of a middle school. The kids call it doofing.
My jaw hurts from laughing so much.
It would be one of those, like, what was that freaking show? Like, what was it? Law and Order or whatever, where they have like freaking Ice-T doing the weird drug names or whatever. It's like the kids on the street do this weird thing now where they take.
I heard they call it doofing.
They call it doofing. Parents, it puzzles all the parents.
Oh man, I wish Jerry Orbach was still alive so we could get his cop character's reaction to someone who died via
Doofing.
Yeah, that's what we need on SVU.
like a criminal homicide.
Criminal doofing.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, we should really get to reviews before we go further off the deep end. Pernell, you ready to start?
Yeah, let's get down to business.
All right. First game to talk about tonight is God of Rock, developed by Modus Studios, published by Modus Games, released April 18th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $29.99. The God of Rock has gathered the universe's greatest musicians to clash for musical supremacy, battle to the beat by hitting notes and rhythm, and unleash harmonic attacks against opponents in this competitive rhythm fighting game hybrid. Pernell, tell us, what is God of Rock?
So, even though I doubt this is what happened, though, if this is the case, I would be happy if the studio or the developer would tell me this. But I feel like this would be a matter of someone believing, wow, Bust a Groove was a really great game back in the day. Wouldn't it be nice if someone tried to take that concept and expand upon it and make it even more like a fighting game than that game was? Well, Merry Christmas. You got your wish. It's called God of Rock. And you may come to regret that wish, but that all depends on just, I don't know, what kind of player you are. So, what is God of Rock? Well, essentially, it's a game where you have a series of characters, all of which are within different places within their lives. They are frustrated by those places, and at the moment of their deepest, lowest point of despair, the God of Rock shows up in a vision and says, "Hey, dude, if you participate in my God of Rock tournament and win, I'll make your wish come true." So basically, typical fighting game setup. Give somebody a reason to enter it so that they can become happy again or whatever. So everyone agrees.
These are just
they
like
join
random people that are just down on their luck, or are they like special people?
No, they're just regular people. Like, I was looking at a couple of things on the internet where people were talking about it, and some people thought they were all musicians. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure the character that I beat the game with was a nun who hated the food at the monastery. And the God of Rock says, hey, if you win this tournament, your food won't suck anymore. She's like, yes.
Win this tournament, you're going to Sizzler.
And then every battle, like the lead up, the characters meet up, they have like a quick banter where they say something, and every intro for her was something where like, wow, something smells good. And the guy goes, oh yeah, there's a baker down the street. And he's like, when this battle's over, I'm going to get me a piece of bread or something. And the battle starts. So basically just like goofy banter just to get the battle going, nothing to really set yourself down with. But once the battles actually begin, what you're treated to is, even though visually at the surface it has the typical staples of a fighting game, character on the left and right, and health bars at the top, the way in which this battle takes place is completely different. Because at the bottom of the screen, you have a series of notes that are going from the left to the right, or right to the left, depending on which player you're controlling. And as the notes come to reach the center of the screen, you have to hit the button in time to match the beat of it. It can be any of the face buttons. So in the case of Xbox, button corresponding to Y, X, A, and B. Though you can also use the crosspad buttons to do like the corresponding button if you need to double up. So for example, Y and up are the same button, A and down are the same button. As the notes come across the screen and they hit the center, when you hit them, this is going to sound strange because I'm not even 100% sure how this works, and I'll tell you why in a second, but I know that you want to hit the note on time as well as possible, and I believe from reading that whoever is least off on the timing will take damage if one player is better at the timing than the other person is, but I couldn't verify that. And again, I'll tell you why in a minute. But technically, at the end of the day, you want to hit the notes to timing on the center of the screen. As you do that, depending on the character you've got, you may be generating, a special attack bar meter at the bottom of the screen. And when you feel compelled to do so, you can enter a button combination corresponding to your character's special moves to pull off a special attack. And these special attacks come in a variety of flavors. The character I used did stuff involving, setting up heal boosts or heal charges, and then she could do a special move that let her activate the heal charges and get a decent amount of health, or a super attack that hurt the enemy based on how many heal charges she built up. And I'm not even kidding when I say all the characters have specials that function differently enough that they have their own play style associated with them. And also, just like in a typical fighting game, some characters just generate their boost by doing normal button presses, while others have to do a charge by holding down a special button to charge up their meter. So they got to find some time to do it within all the chaos. It's funny, too, because on the surface, everything about this game speaks to me on a level. I love rhythm games. Anybody who listens to this show ever knows I love rhythm games. I love fighting games with quirky characters, and this game has those, too. And it has music by Tyson Wernley, who did music for Chris Tales, and I love that music, and his music in this doesn't disappoint either, along with the other tracks accounting for the 40 songs in this game or so.
I love that game because it's all but one letter of my own name.
Which, God of Rock?
No, Chris Tales.
Chris Tales. Oh, man, that would
Change that S to an R and you got me.
Crow Tales?
Oh, come on. Not both of them. I mean the last one.
So you have to ask yourself then, if I like all these things, what could possibly be the issue with this game? And that is this. The reason why I have trouble following the health bar and knowing if my attacks were doing damage versus not, and vice versa, is because when you play a rhythm game, especially one like this where the notes can come pretty hot and heavy,
fucking yeah!
You're focused on the section that you're following to input the buttons. You don't have the eye capacity, the attention span to focus on anything else. And they do hit you with a lot of notes. The songs range from easy to hard, and by the end of normal mode, you were doing a song on hard difficulty, and it got bonkers. And the longer you spend on a stage before winning the battle, the harder the song gets anyway. So it ramps up for sure. So generally, when I was playing matches, I would be doing attacks and trying, and then, whoa, I won. Okay, time to move on. I didn't play in regards to my health at all. Same for the battle itself that's taking place. It's more so for spectators than for you because you're not paying attention to that. Just like guitar freaks, just like popping music or anything, I'm so focused on hitting the notes that I don't know what's happening on the visual flavor screen for anybody watching to see. I'm just intent on the game. And when you have to deal with the special moves, you have to input those like Street Fighter moves while doing all the button presses for the song. So much so that you're going to start out trying to play the game thinking, okay, well, I'll get some meter, and then when there's a lull in the song, I'll input this button press and get a move off.
And when there's a lull in your review, I'm going to give a shout out to BX Latino Heat, who just subbed. Thank you so much, Latino Heat. Always good having you in chat. Thank you.
There was no lull. You just found it.
I know. I had to jump in there and make it.
But the thing about it is there are no lulls in the songs for the most part. It plays like a pretty to the letter rhythm game. You're hitting buttons to the beat, and there's very rarely a lull, which makes me wonder if they intend for you to intentionally skip some notes sometimes to do a quick button press and just to get the moves off or whatever. There's also an element of reversal too. So you might be asking, wait a minute, reversals? Yes. Think of a normal fighting game. It has like EX moves. It has like a level 1, level 2, and level 3 super. In this game, it's the same thing, but they're color coded too. So I'm just saying an EX1 could be like blue and an EX2 could be green. Okay. If your opponent does the level 1 super, the center of the screen will show that color on the right side or on their side of the screen, letting you know you're about to get hit by their special attack. If you have the energy for it and pull off a specialist of a higher rank than that, you cancel theirs out and you reverse it on them. So not only are you paying attention to your own play screen, not only are you trying to look at your health, not only are you trying to input specials when you find an opening, but you also are trying to see what the opponent did so you can counter theirs. So there's a lot going on in something that on the surface seems like it would be pretty simple. A far, far cry from what Busted Groove used to be back on the PlayStation 1. So my takeaway from this game ends up being that I like what it's doing. I like what it's trying to do. But there are definitely a few things that I feel like I would like to see change. And also I feel like it's going to take a special audience to step in and give this game the try and love that it would likely deserve to push it to that status where people are watching this played on a like competitive level. No. But if we got to that point, I think it'd be pretty cool. One general change I'd almost recommend, I don't know how the UI would deal with it. Well, two of them actually. One, bring the health bar down or just make it so that the health bar is a yellow light that's behind the notes, so that it's behind what you're doing, and as you're losing health, it kind of drains out. That way, you don't have to take your eyes to another place to see how well or poorly you're doing. And then the other thing I'd suggest, if they're listening to this, and there's like a patch they could throw on there, provide an option to have the notes scrolling from the top to the bottom instead of from the sides. Yeah, I know you lose that center thing being the reference to check for if someone's doing an attack for you to counter or not, but there's a reason why most rhythm games scale from the top to the bottom, and it's mostly to give you the majority of screen real estate possible to give yourself time to press things. Though I didn't have a ton of issues with trying to track it from the left to the right, it would be easier for me in the sense of like matching it to the buttons that I'm pressing because it's easier to correspond it that way. But that's just how I generally play these games.
Okay, so it looks like there's about the same amount of real estate, like width-wise, if it were vertical, but I still prefer vertical. Like watching gameplay of this, everything going horizontal just makes it a lot harder for me to focus on.
Think of it like this, too, right? So, like you said yourself, right? You know, if you see it harder for you to focus on one, but like look at your buttons as well, right? If you look at that screen, do you ever feel like you can see yourself getting jumbled, at least early on, with the B and the X placement? A and Y are obvious. A is at the bottom, Y is at the top. But X and B, I had more than a few times like, shoot, I forgot. Even though it's printed on the screen, it's such a small font that every once in a while I'm like, oh, whoop, I screwed that up. I messed that up. But it's something that people can get used to, so I'm not going to begrudge that 100%. I'm just saying that's like maybe one more positive where if it was going from top to bottom. At least be like, hey, if you wanted to just put it in the options menu, you don't have to make it a requirement even. But all in all, I may sound like I'm slamming the game, and I'm totally not, because I do like what it did. I had fun playing the game, and unlike a lot of the other people I've seen talk about this on the internet, I don't need vocals and recognizable music for me to like a rhythm game. In fact, I generally prefer when I don't know what I'm listening to going in, because it gives me something to listen to that's new. So I'm fine with it. The music's good. The art's good. I just feel like this game is going to have a hard time finding that audience because it's very different.
No, it's $29.99. What are your thoughts?
I want people to give this a try. I genuinely do, because I do feel like there's an audience for it out there, but there's a learning curve to find it, and the first step is for people to give it an actual solid go.
No. So hopefully they put out, I would love to see some kind of demo of this. This seems like something where you really need to get your hands on it to get a feel for it before you can make a decision.
Yeah, I feel like a demo would be good here too.
I don't know. Anyway, next game is Cannon Dancer Osman, developed by Mitchell Corporation, published by ININ Games, released April 13th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $29.99. Lead Kieran, a highly skilled martial arts fighter, through a neo-cyberpunk adventure to defeat enemy forces and a corrupt government. Chris, what is Cannon Dancer Osman?
All right, Cannon Dancer Osman. So this is a basically a arcade re-release by ININ, who have so much of my money right now, because they put out Bubble Bobble for Friends, the Darius collections, all three of them, which I've all purchased. And yeah, so this is a really interesting one because it kind of does require knowing a little bit of the history of the game. So this is an arcade game from 1996. Has never been re-released or ported in any way until now. So it's very rare as far as that goes, and most people have not heard of it. The US title of it is Osman. You would think Cannon Dancer, because that makes, those are English words, that makes sense, but no, it's called Cannon Dancer in Japan. It was basically, it's a side-scrolling action punch 'em up. That and a kick 'em up. You can kick too. I do not want to downplay the kicking. This is essentially a spiritual successor to Strider. It was made by the guy who made Strider, like for Capcom back in the 80s, and he left Capcom in order to, he basically really wanted to make a second Strider. And Capcom at that point was not that interested in making like a whole nother Strider and stuff. They found some huge profits to be had in fighting in the streets, if you know what I mean. So they kind of ignored him, and so he left the company and got together with a company called Mitchell, and through them and Atlas released this game. And like I said, it's a total obscurity. And then,
I'm sorry, anytime I hear Mitchell, I immediately think of Mystery Science Theater.
I know. My Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's. I was hoping somebody would catch that. So yeah, Cannon Dancer Osman. Like I said, it's the release of it that incorporates, or it includes rather, both the Japanese original Cannon Dancer as well as the English Osman. So when you play these games, like I said, it's a different character, it's a different setting, it's a completely different game than Strider. But as soon as you play it, you're like, oh, this is Strider. And in fact, I'm not a huge Strider person. However, I did play a Super Nintendo game. I actually own it, called Run Saber, which is also very similar in style and gameplay to this. So you play as a future man, in the kind of cyberpunk like future or whatever. And I'm not going to get into the story; it's way too confusing. But essentially, you walk through stages, you climb, you jump, you backflip. And in fact, you optionally can double jump. I'll get to that in a minute. You basically beat up everything in sight in these games. And this is a game that really throws out like just all these crazy like looking enemies at you, robots, people. When you punch a person, they just explode, like just, in like every single one of them is just a balloon filled with like nitrous or something like that. And then you face a boss that's like larger than the screen and stuff like that, and you punch them to death. It's a great time. Just watch any footage of it and you'll see like, yeah, this is a great time. it's a hard game. You get 3 hits and then you die, and then I don't know. I don't remember exactly how many lives. I think it's 3 lives, and then you get a game over, and then you continue. However, this is a game that you can just dump quarters into and keep going from where you left off until the final stage,
Ooh, dun, dun,
where
dun.
where it all comes to a head. You actually will start the stage over if you get a game over. So you basically spend a lot of the time kind of learning like the ropes and how to do everything. And like I said, the game is very generous. Even though it's difficult like an arcade game should be, they give you 3 basically screen clearing like special moves per life. They're like kind of like bombs in a shoot 'em up. They also like work super well against bosses. So you can learn how to fight the bosses by, memorizing patterns and whatnot and like kind of learning their moves, or you can just like throw a bomb at them.
Nice.
So, like in real life. So, it's fast paced. It's really smooth. You'll very much enjoy the fast motion and frame rate here. And so now, because this is an ININ game, you'll recognize instantly the UI if you're like me and you spent literally hundreds of dollars with this company buying up their arcade re-releases and also reviewing them. You get not only a whole lot of controller options, you have you can bind the controls to whatever you like, even though there's only 3 buttons. There's button A, B, and C, like the US version will tell you. And, one jumps, one attacks, one does special, but you can map those any way you like. The game has a rewind and fast forward function now, so you can do that. You insert a coin by pushing down on the stick, which I actually don't like, but it's kind of cool. But I mean, by default, you can put in a coin by pressing down on the stick. It also has, video options. One of which is a full screen stretch, which I'm against on principle, but it is there if you want it. It's got wallpapers and shaders and whatnot.
Yeah, full screen stretch is there if you're a monster.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. This game also comes with several enhancements and cheats. So the way they kind of work is that they basically, for this port, they put in 2 modes. They put a standard mode and a challenge mode. Now, challenge mode actually has an online leaderboard. You get ranking and stuff like that. You can't get it in standard mode. You can get it in challenge mode. Now, the enhancements, you can turn them all on for standard mode, but basically, as I understand it, in order to if you're going to do challenge mode, you can actually equip up to 2 enhancements, and you'll still be fine. And those include a double jump, which the game is generously supplying with. And the text of it says, "Double jump. You just kind of expect it at this point, don't you?"
Yes, we do.
Yeah. They're onto us with a double jump. So. And then you have invincible jump, invincible slide, and invincible attack, which basically gives you iframes when you jump, slide, or attack. You can also set an auto attack where you can do a continuous attack, and it has 5 settings for that. That's a lot of enhancements. Like I said, though, you can choose 2 of them to do a challenge mode, but you can toggle them all on if you like for normal mode. Which, based on how fast and furious the enemies come at you, and especially bosses, like, they're actually really good enhancements to have and to put on if you don't want to go the cheats route. Now, the cheats route, you can only use it in standard mode, I believe. You can't use cheats at all in the challenge mode. One of them is just straight up invincibility. One of them is time freeze. I didn't check that one out, so I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that. I think it's because there's a timer in the game, so it just takes out the timer, essentially. Unlimited fatal attacks, which is the special move. Unlimited HP, which I don't know why is that the same as invincible? Like, what kind of Game Genie nonsense is this? And then full power, which I do want to talk about in the game as kind of a final word, is that the way that you power up in the game is you collect power-ups that are dropped by enemies and things like that. And the way that you know your character is powered up, it's the second best thing to Altered Beast to me, because I always thought Altered Beast was so funny the way they did the power-ups. The color of your pants is what determines what your power level is. So you start off with blue pants, and then you get a power-up and you have red pants, and then you get a power-up and you have white pants. And, so that's...
fancy.
Yeah, the fancier your pants, the fancier your pants your attacks
When you died, you get brown pants?
No, sadly.
Oh.
If you die, you kind of explode, so it's kind of like no pants at that point.
Ooh, there you go, Aki.
Yeah, we love no pants, I guess.
No pants is the way to go.
So yeah, that's.
I just want to say, when you mentioned the invincible slide, I really, really wanted to make an electric slide joke.
Oh, but I don't know. Like,
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really know. I don't really know it that much. And then on top of all of that, regardless of what mode you're playing in, you can save and load state. So all that stuff I said before about that extra challenge of the final level having to be done in one continue. I mean,
you could still save scum.
You could just forget about that. Yeah, like instead of save scumming, just turn on invincibility. You'll get there one way or another.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Dancer. Go ahead, Aki.
It sounds like there were two modifiers or something you were talking about, augments or whatever it is. The having iframes when you're attacking, and then one that just lets you auto attack. And you said there was like 5 levels to that. That does make the game like easy mode even on challenging.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean,
ridiculous.
but it's an arcade game though, so like an arcade game is like built from the ground up to just murder you all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it is and it isn't. They're just, like I said, enhancements kind of help you live a little bit longer. Like I said, in your rampage of free continues and whatnot. So it's kind of like,
well, Cannon Dancer is sitting at $30, which seems cheaper than finding an actual copy of it. What are your thoughts?
You'd have to buy an arcade cab from 1996 in order to get it normally. I'd say $30. If you are into Strider and Run Saber, then you're already used to spending more money than you need to, because Run Saber is like it's pretty expensive. This game also does have a physical version that is available, like all ININ releases, so you can get this on your PS5, PS4, or Switch physically. There's a collector's edition. I don't know if they're on strictly limited, but I don't know. They might be sold out already, because I think they came out, I don't know when, but it's a game that you can buy physically, so that can explain the higher price point. I mean, listen, most arcade games that come out now on the Switch are like $8, and you still get most of this stuff with them. So it's kind of up to you as to whether that's worth it. However, if you are a fan, like I said, of those properties, you like that kind of action game, and you've been really looking forward to a port of Osman and Cannon Dancer for, literally 27 years, then this is definitely a buy it. It's a quality arcade game. It's just that it is one arcade game. There's no difference between Osman and Cannon Dancer. It's the same game. So if one arcade game sounds like if $30 sounds like it's a winner for you, then go ahead and go for it. I say it's a buy it just because there's nothing to complain about. But yeah, $30 is a little high for the digital version. So
my brain hurts that you said 27 years.
Yeah.
96.
So,
Cool.
I'm gonna say buy. I say buy it, but it is expensive.
Cool. All right. Next up, Dave, you ready to go? You heard how the other two did it. You ready to try it yourself?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Next game to talk about is Dredge, developed by Black Salt Games, published by Team 17, released March 30th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $24.99. Dredge is a single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. Sell your catch, upgrade your boat, and dredge the depths for long-buried secrets. Explore a mysterious archipelago and discover why some things are best left forgotten. Dave, tell us about Dredge.
First of all, undercurrent. Get it? Anyway, Dredge is a game where you play a fisherman in a little boat. You catch fish, you haul salvage from shipwrecks, and run from eldritch horrors from beyond space and time. So just as a note, I did not play this game on Moriarty difficulty. I played it on Game Reviewer difficulty. But that said, That's just for disclosure purposes. That said, this game fucking rules. I am having so much fun playing it. Oh man, there's a lot to do in Dredge, but not so much that it feels like a part-time job. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Some games just have too much going on.
Way too much, and like a lot of games. So one thing I really appreciate about Dredge right off the bat is the resource allocation is really good. And what I mean is that there's very little grinding. It's really necessary. Like, you make money in the game by like selling fish, selling treasure that you've salvaged from shipwrecks, and you use that money to, for the most part, buy stuff to improve and upgrade your ship and or equipment. And while stuff does cost money, like it's not particularly difficult to earn money in the game. And when you do have to grind, like sometimes you do have to go and like just catch fish and bring them back and sell them to like, to boost your finances. But when you do have to grind, there's like a lot of variety. The fishing aspect of the game offers like when you're catching fish, you can catch like prize catches, which are like really good versions of that fish that are worth more money. There's also a lot of creepy monster variations of every kind of fish in the game. You also use a bunch of different like fishing and winch lines. You also use trawl nets and crab pots to catch different kinds of fish.
Each with monster variants.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
They're weird ones. Sometimes characters in the game eat those monster variations and go crazy, which is also very entertaining. So, like, if anyone here or in the chat has played Sunless Sea before, which this game kind of reminds me of, and got frustrated by the amount of resource grinding you had to do just to be able to play the basic game, Dredge sidesteps that whole problem in a very engaging way. I also really like the character design. Graphically, this game is very pleasing. It's cartoony and stylized, but not in a way that's going to look embarrassing like 5 years from now, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of games go for like they're going for whatever a level of photorealism they can reach at that point with whatever tech they have on hand, and that always looks bad like 2 years after the game comes out. So I appreciate games that are that go for a more stylized and cartoony approach.
Yeah.
It's just an aesthetic I prefer. I grew up with a lot of like LucasArts point-and-click adventure games, which are similarly, from an aesthetic perspective, pretty timely. Controls are WASD and the mouse, like nothing super complicated there. So I will say also, the main plot line of the game is finding relics for a character named the Collector. And he rewards you for finding them with eldritch magics to help you pilot your boat faster or avoid enemies or warp back to safe harbor. You also get you have a spyglass to find fishing spots. You also have a foghorn, which doesn't serve a lot of immediate mechanical purpose in the game. But if you honk at ships in the night, they will honk back at you. And that is very satisfying.
Just toot toot.
Pretty much. Speaking of enemies, there's a lot of there's day and night cycles in Dredge. So fishing during the day is pretty straightforward. Fishing at night is full of horrifying bullshit, and it rules, and it's awesome. You got fucking ghost ships, sea monsters, crabs of enormous size, heavy fog that's really hard to see through, no matter how bright your spotlights are. Patches of red light that make you paranoid. It pretty much has everything as far as enemies and threats and hazards are concerned. So they make it. They provide a good level of difficulty, and you do have to strategize a bit to figure out how to avoid stuff. And also, there are certain types of fish that you can only catch at night, so you do have to go out at night to fish for some stuff. And while it is that is taking a pretty big risk as far as in-game stuff is concerned. It's a fun risk. Like even the parts of the game that are difficult and challenging are fun rather than just frustrating.
Nice.
Which, as someone who, full disclosure, sucks at video games, I really, really appreciate it very much.
Oh, you'll fit in perfectly if you suck at video games.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was a little hesitant about reviewing video games at first because I was under the impression you had to be like good at them to be taken seriously in that endeavor, but apparently
they break games on a regular basis. Don't worry about that.
Okay, cool. Good.
You should have heard some of our early racing game reviews.
That was my impression going in. I'm glad that it's wrong. It makes me feel a whole lot better. Just there's going to be a lot more angry cursing as opposed to happy cursing if I have to review any Metroidvanias. Let's put it that way. Because while those games are fun, I do suck at them real bad, and they make me very angry.
That's fair.
Yeah. My notes kind of trail off at this point. So I think
it just says, goddamn fish, goddamn fish, goddamn fish.
It's more just like this game rules. Oh my God. I can't believe I got to play this for free. How am I so blessed? I also really, if you like anything that is both dark and nautical, Dredge is definitely the game.
This seems like if someone has thalassophobia, they should avoid this with every fiber of their being.
Yeah, if you're afraid of fish, then maybe a fishing game is probably not something you should be playing.
Yeah, that would be
like not to not to poke fun, but yeah, if you are
fear of the open waters.
I would say that if you have fear of like open water or fish, or if you're susceptible to things like jump scares, then proceed with caution, I will say.
The one streamer I watch picked this up thinking it was like a calm fishing game and had
parts of it are
and had no clue about the night stuff.
Oh man.
And the first time that she got chased by a giant fish monster just attacking the boat, oh my God, that was amazing to watch.
I can imagine
that was an authentic reaction. Oh, I would have been happy to see that.
Dude, I'm so glad I live by myself, because if I had still lived with roommates and they saw how I reacted the first time a sea monster hit my boat, they would never respect me again.
It's okay. You'd be on here. They wouldn't have respected you anyways.
That's a fair point, actually. Yeah, no, I mean that's good to know too.
Oh man,
I'm glad I'm leveraging future social respect by appearing on this podcast. That's good to know. I wish I'd known that maybe like an hour ago.
Yep.
You should have known that back when you were on the Rasslecast. I mean, that's just part of life.
I mean, I have a feeling the reason I was asked is because I was not immediately aware of it. So
yeah,
that's
possible. He really likes to.
That's the kind of social blind spot one would expect from a lifelong wrestling.
And he never shows up at wrestling again. Dredge is $24.99. What are your thoughts on it?
It is worth every penny. I easily got $25 worth of enjoyment out of this stuff.
Nice, sounds good.
So I think that is I think that's a fair price, because you do get a lot of game. Like there are a lot of cool side missions. Again, there's a ton of variety in the game, and it's got a really fun, like weird sense of humor to it as well. There are like legitimate sort of horror and I will say sort of Lovecrafty elements to it as well. But that's not to say that it takes them really very seriously at all, which in my opinion is a good. I would also say, like, if you played Sunless Sea and you want a version of that game that's fun, you will like Dredge.
Nice.
If you played Gibbous and want more of that, but also a game where you do a lot of fishing, Dredge is also for you.
I haven't heard of Gibbous.
Gibbous is.
We reviewed Gibbous.
Did we?
I really enjoyed
years ago I did it.
Mm.
I really enjoyed it.
My memory is fantastic. Well, Dave,
I imagine that all that doofing would affect your brain at some point just by like gravity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catches up to you. Catches up to you after the years of doofing. They pile on.
Just the physics of it. Some of it would have to reach your brain eventually.
Coming out my nose. It
among other places. Biomedical logic.
Jesus.
Also, someone in the chat did mention earlier that medicinal in Pennsylvania is easy to get and cheaper than Maryland, I think they said. So that's good to know. I'm glad they updated it. I wish I could remember who said that, but thank you for the update.
I will have to double check through chat, but
yeah.
Dave, that is it for you. I want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us.
Absolutely. This was fun.
You're welcome to stick around if you would like, but I don't want to bug you into staying longer if you have shit to do.
Well, I mostly have to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow, which is unpleasant. But
you're like around. Tim, going to bed and having responsibilities.
Tim is significantly more responsible than me. You take that back. Tim is a father.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, moving on. Next game is Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories, developed by Froach Club and Poppyworks, published by Poppyworks and XSEED Games, released April 6th. Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $14.99. Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories is a story exploration game about getting caught up in the outlandish happenings of a small town where melons are illegal. Silly and cute on the surface, but are things really as peaceful as they seem? Pernell, what is going on in Melon Journey?
I wish I could tell you, but two reasons. One, because this game is weird, and two, obviously being an adventure game, you really can't say a whole lot. But what I can say is that this is a game that takes place in a world where you are a human that wears bunny ears for work, living in a world populated by animals. Your name is Honeydew, and you have a friend whose name is Cantaloupe. Get it? Because they cantaloupe. No, that's not the joke at all, but I start saying it. Anyway, there's a situation when you wake up in the morning for work, and when you leave to go to the office, you have a letter waiting for you where Cantaloupe is saying, hey, come meet me over in Hamtown or Hogtown, where I got to tell you something. Our friends will be there, and I got to tell you all. And then, of course, some events occur preventing you from leaving work because apparently in this world you live at work. So you can't get out of the office. And then when you eventually do, you get over there. Your friend's not there. And a series of weird events start to occur that start off with like contraband watermelon seeds. It just becomes weirder and weirder and weirder. And it just kind of barrels down that rabbit hole. There's another one. Of just events occurring, and you're just kind of along for the ride. You're interacting with such characters with names as Thievery Snake, Ham Ghost Jr., Strong Dog, Kitten Princess, and Janet, because of course there's some just straightforward names as well. And it's interesting because the game itself, it hits you on the vintage note of being a monochrome Game Boy, like a high-end Game Boy looking title, which I like. I like the visuals for this game. Character walking can be slow and annoying, though eventually you do get rollerblades, which allows you to kind of toggle fast walking. Kind of wish he just gave you the rollerblades to start the game. But for the most part, you really are just kind of wandering around town, hoping you can remember the right things that you heard and walking to different places with information, hoping to trigger the next event. Or occasionally someone comes across an item that will trigger the next event by talking to a person who actually wanted the item or could use it. And that's not a big deal. I mean, because literally that is what adventure games tend to be when they don't have action in the middle to break things up. And I do like the interactions that the characters tend to have with each other as well. I never, obviously, doing the nature of the game, I never felt like, oh no, I'm about to quote-unquote die, because you really can't. It's just getting around and experiencing the world for what it is until it's over. Though there are a couple of side missions that you can undertake as well, if you can find them, that revolve around making certain characters happy, being the ultimate goal. And if you can pull off those side quests, you'll get achievements for them. I know you love those. And you'll also fill up a little sticker sheet at the top of the screen, which is also kind of nice. It shows, hey, I made a new friend here. But for the most part, that is really what the game is. Though the music in it is a freaking bop, by the way. Just got to point that out, too. I love the music in this game, but also don't be an idiot like me and forget to save your game. For some reason, maybe because I was half asleep when I was playing it, because I'm always half asleep these days, I did not realize the game wasn't auto-saving. So a good 3.5 hours into the game, I was like, well, I'm going to bed. Turned it off and came back like, shit. The file's not there. Yeah, it made me very sad. So don't be shocked by the fact that I did not finish this game because of the fact that in the time I had, I wasn't replaying all that stuff again. But I liked what I did play of the game enough to be able to say, if you like adventure games with a retro vibe and a good, I don't even know how to describe the music in this game. I'm sure there's a genre for it that's eluding me right now. I'm not going to say something like generically, it's house music, because I don't know. But it's very chill. Maybe lo-fi works. It's a very chill OST, but it's a good chill OST. And if you like that kind of music, if you like, monochrome retro style graphics and like just kind of goofy dialogue in context where, I don't know, again, you're haunted by a ghost named Ham Ghost Jr. I think this game is worth your time and worth a shot. And I can't speak for how long it is, but the time I spent with it was enjoyable enough that I would say if I can get at least half of get that again, basically double that amount of time, I'd be content with this game too. So it's a good time.
Well, it is $14.99. What are your thoughts on it?
So long as you're competent in saving your game, unlike some people that I won't name, I think you should buy the game. I think it's fun. I enjoyed my time with it up until I didn't.
I mean, in the menu, there's like items, save, and quit.
Exactly, right? That's why I was like, I felt like I had to say it on the show because of just how ridiculous it is that I didn't think to actually save the game when it's one of the only two options in the game you get. You can walk, you can interact with things, and you can save your game. And I didn't do the third thing, so I don't even know.
I appreciate that you can interact with like everything too.
Oh yeah, and there's some hidden stuff that you can find too that also results in achievements if you're lucky. The one thing I guess I shouldn't mention that though. The one thing that kind of throws me for a loop in a sense though is the fact that when you go to the items menu, they show you essentially how many items are going to be in the game. Like you already know how many are going to technically be because there's enough blocks for each possible item there is to find from the very start. But they're populated with question marks. So I guess one nice thing about that is you might actually I take it back. I won't even say if it's nice or not because I don't know. But if you pick up an item and you look at your menu like, okay, so far so good. The first 5 squares have items in them. And then you get another item, and all of a sudden, item 7's populated, but item 6 is blank. You find yourself like, did I miss something? Or is it just the way the items are ordered? So if you're a completist, watch out because you might.
I would lose my fucking mind.
What is item 6? I gotta find item 6.
I've played games like that and it drives me crazy. Oh my god.
It also doesn't help that depending on, like, if you're looking for all the events, it depends on where you are in town at the right time. Like, you're just walking around, you had a thing occur, you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm going back to the grocery store because I just want to walk back to the grocery store. Oh, look, an event. Maybe that's where item 6 is. I don't know. So you'll be doing stuff like that too. So get those rollerblades fast because you want to move around quickly.
Nice. All right. Well, moving on. Next game is Infinite Guitars, developed by Nikko, published by Humble Games, released March 30th on Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC for $19.99. Also available as part of Xbox Game Pass. Fight mechs with metal-crushing rock and infinite guitars, a genre-melting rhythm RPG featuring vibrant anime-inspired art and a blazing original soundtrack. Battle against war machines with electrifying guitar solos and save the planet. Our friend Andy Sperry wrote in a review for this one. Dave, you're going to read it for us, yes?
I am, yes.
Well, would you like to start?
I remember, as you recall, I said maybe like 15 minutes ago that I was going to go to bed, but then I remembered I work from home tomorrow, so fuck it. I am still here, and I'm going to read this email review. Infinite Guitars is a clever mashup between rhythm games and turn-based RPGs. This is accompanied by incredible anime-inspired artwork and cutscenes, an original soundtrack, and epic mech battle. This is an intriguing combo to pick up and play, but how does it hold up through the course of gameplay? The player follows the story of young JJ and her grandfather, Miguel. The two are traveling through a series of floating islands to introduce JJ to the world she was born into, and to help JJ find a replacement power core. Power cores are what keep people alive in this desolate wasteland of scrap and guitars, thanks to the guitar-powered mech war that humanity fought to liberate themselves from the mechs. Song as old as time. JJ's only desire, however, is to play her guitar on the airship they use to travel between floating islands. After a turn of events, JJ is left alone, suddenly in charge of her own destiny and possibly the future of humanity. JJ is followed by a small garbage robot she calls Ruckus, which is pretty great.
Does she bring the ruckus to all the motherfuckers?
I believe the Ruckus just follows her around to all the motherfuckers.
Okay.
I don't believe that question is addressed in this review, but I might be wrong. We'll find out. She eventually picks up 3 more party members, or bandmates, in quotes, along the way. Sam, Kaylee, and Rue. JJ is a fairly relatable character. She is a young rocker just trying to find her way in the world. The other party members, though interesting, don't add much more than clever quips and extra hands in battle, but they're still nice to have along. Together, the band slowly roams the wasteland searching for scrap, which is the game's currency, and infinite shards for upgrading guitars. They also battle uniquely designed mechs that roam the floating islands using a rhythm-based combat system. An incredible original soundtrack backs up the constant bombardment of attacks in the open world. The attacks come via mech robots that roam the landscape and once hit or run into, trigger a turn-based battle. Each character has their own strengths and abilities to aid JJ in battle. Each attack is based around 2 components. The first is a button that, when held, powers up JJ's guitar for a devastating smash attack, if you can time it out perfectly. The other component is a small solo or duet sequence performed by executing a 3-button combo. This costs the character some health. The game refers to it as drive, much like in real life, but it can be regained with each perfectly played note. Enemies attack between each party member's turn, and the player is given a chance to dodge damage. Both offense and defense sections are cleverly bookended by amazing anime-style cutscenes, which really bring the battle to life. I initially found this blend of gameplay intriguing and fun, but the frequency of battles, their length, and lack of variety soon gave way to tedium. Upon finishing a battle, the characters receive experience, which leads to level ups and upgraded stats and scrap. Healing is allowed inside and outside of battles using cores, but is a risky move in the overworld due to the constant attack waves and will use up a turn while in battle. Playing the guitar via a mix of 3-button combinations is a huge part of the game outside of battles as well. Accessing each new area relies on achieving a sufficiently high score on guitar solos, and failed attempts prevent access. The solos only differ a little each time and are based on the few presented tunes in each area. There are a limited number of solos programmed into the game, and the use of the same songs or performing the same solos becomes repetitive. It's like playing the same groups of songs on Guitar Hero over and over until you make it to a new area. There are dialogue
like the people who were
options.
stuck playing on the Wii with Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Didn't have proper stores and downloads. Oh, poor people.
We were cavemen, but we might as well have been playing on a rotary phone. just artless beasts, all of us at that time. Dragged kicking and screaming into the glorious future. Back to the game. There are dialogue options that give the player a boost in stats. This was interesting. Oh, God, there's a cat on my lap. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Really, cat? You had to do this now, here, today? I'm doing serious internet business. God damn it. Oh, now she's purring. Oh, son of a... All right, where was I? What's happening? Oh, dialogue options, right. Don't cut any of this. Leave this all in.
You think I edit this? Are you crazy? Oh my God. That requires effort and work. Hell no.
Yeah, that's none of that in podcasting.
Yeah.
Look, the whole point is to avoid those things.
Yes.
In any
Very
case,
lazy.
The dialogue options that, again, give the player a boost in stats are interesting, but not beneficial to overall gameplay. The upgrades and armor were nice to have, but not really necessary or customized to the character. On the plus side, the level up system keeps characters up to par with everything that gets thrown at them. Even powerful enemies at a much higher level can eventually be taken down with time and a few perfect dodge rolls, much like in real life. Infinite Guitars combines some very fun styles of gameplay. Combination of rhythm and role-playing is creative, but not always as engaging as I'd hoped. The story, although interesting and inventive, was often forgotten about. I found myself wanting more out of each area of interest and kept playing in hopes that more would come, finding joy in exploring the vibrant worlds above everything else. If the game was cut in half to reduce the dull repetition, it would have been great. Infinite Guitars is available for free with Game Pass and sells for $19.99 separately, which I believe was mentioned earlier. If you have Game Pass, it's certainly worth a try. Otherwise, waiting for a sale might be the best option. That's just one Rockstar's opinion, though. Go try to pet the cat yourself. Which I did not add. That is actually how this review ends.
It is. That's really, really funny.
It is. It is very convenient given the predicament that I find myself. Because now I can't move. What if I have to go to the bathroom? What am I supposed to do here?
Looks like you're pissing yourself.
I should have diped up for this.
You should have. I mean,
I should have worn a game diaper. God damn it.
I'll see if my wife can get a I just shit my pants sticker from work and send it to you.
If she could send me multiples of those, that would probably be better given my general lifestyle.
Sounds good. I'll see what I can.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, please do.
Oh man. All right. Well,
not a weird amount, but enough to cover a difficult week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shit happens, right?
Very good. Well done. If I was not engaged in petting a cat, I would clap.
All right. Well, we got to move on. Dave, you sticking around longer, or did you want to head off now? I don't know how tired you are.
I do actually think I'm legit going to jump.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will have to get you back on again another time.
Absolutely, man. This is really fun.
Yeah, anytime. Like I said, if there's ever anything you're looking for, let me know and I'll do my best. I'll probably fail, but I will do my best.
Well, that's really all I can ask. You can't promise you'll try, but you will try to try.
Yeah. I guarantee failure.
I think I like that kind of consistency in a world as unpredictable as ours.
Dave, where can people keep up to date with you and what you're doing?
I'm not really a social media guy much these days, but I do have Instagram. So if anyone wants to, for any reason, follow me on that, I don't know why you would, but you can find me at Dave K is Dave K on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dave, we're going to let you get going. Do you have any final words?
No. No, awesome. I don't. I think I can't think of anything.
All right. Have yourself a good one.
You too. Thank you. It was nice meeting the rest of you. And thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Good night, dude.
Nice
it was a pleasure to meet you.
If I was wearing a hat, I would tip it. But since I'm not, I will just say,
we didn't have to know that. You could have did a stealth.
Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah. Since I am totally wearing a hat, keep this in. Since I am totally wearing a hat right now, I'm going to tip it because I'm a gentleman.
Kenny says, leave this in. Like I wouldn't.
That's going to become his staple joke. That's going to become his staple joke.
Dave K's running gag will be leave it in. Of course.
Yeah, it's that. Dude, it's that or Dewfing. Pick your poison.
Jesus Christ.
All right, good night, guys.
Have a good night.
All right. God damn it. Dewfing is just amazing. Next game, Hunt the Night, developed by Moonlight Games, published by DANGEN Entertainment, released April 13th on PC for $19.99. Plunge into a retro-style action-adventure game that combines a fast-skilled gameplay with dark fantasy and lore. Play as Vesper, a virtuous member of the Stalkers, and explore the vast world of Medrum, filled with ruins and horrors. Chris, what is going on in Hunt the Night?
Okay, so Hunt the Night is a one of those things. It's like a 16-bit plus, right? It's a 16-bit reminiscent pixel-based indie adventure game which takes place in a kind of, well, one hates to use words that are, a little bit tired, but it's a Lovecraftian kind of horror thing. It's like everything is tentacles and eyeballs all over the walls and things like that kind of stuff. It's, people getting eviscerated by demons at every turn. So the story of this game is that daytime is pretty cool, but like nighttime has really just gone off. It's nighttime is really going through it right now. So like these invincible hordes of demons come out and like murder people and stuff like that due to some kind of story. There's plot afoot. Anyways, so there are these, there are these folks that actually do have like the power to fight back the demons, and your character is one of them. In fact, your character is kind of the best of them. But she's also got some dark secrets of her own.
Ooh.
And
but is she cute?
She's all right.
Oh.
I mean,
she's adequate.
You see her face and a little bit of bang. She's mostly just like running around in like, vampire hunter gear. It's not, not really that kind of game.
It is Taki.
I guess
Every
so.
game is that kind of game to me.
Well, yeah, if you're just imagine, if you will, the fully clothed in layers adventures of our, somewhat neutral looking protagonist as she runs around
16 bits.
kind of, yeah, all 16 bits. She runs around kind of Zelda style, slashing the sword, and it's Zelda by way of Bloodborne or something like that. It's like you have the sword slashes that you can do. You can grab up different swords that do different kinds of slashes, which you're gonna need because they're different levels of like power and speed. There's not really an RPG style like experience progression or anything like that. It's more like different tools for different jobs kind of things when you get new weapons. And of course you have the role that makes you invincible. I'm doing a little prayer sign to the heavens because this game has met its quota in that sense. So on top of that, though, you also get some other things. You have a long-range weapon, which you can shoot kind of twin-stick shooter style. However, like a real gun, it actually has limited ammo. But unlike a real gun, you can refill its ammo by smacking up enemies with swords. For some reason, that creates bullets that go into your gun. So it becomes this kind of thing of like, you really have to conserve bullets lest you find yourself in an area where most of the enemies are out of reach, but you don't have enemies to like smack around to get more bullets to shoot them with. So there's that. That's a little bit of a concern at one point. And then, of course, eventually you also get a shadowy companion of mystery who's wrapped up into the plot very mysteriously. And eventually you use that shadowy pal to like get through certain puzzles and things like that. But the game is less about puzzles than it is about really difficult enemies that occupy the different places that you go in. It's fairly open as to where you can go after a certain point, but really you're just kind of exploring and uncovering the plot and eventually just making your way to that next big boss that's going to take like 7 hours to figure out how to kill, because this game is all about the big bad nasty bosses that you gotta study and learn and figure out what works and just die a whole bunch of times. But yeah, on the way to the bosses, like I said, you have the different areas and dungeons that you can go to. They have save points, which will refill your life, which is great because you will lose your life a lot. And if you die, you end up back at the place, and your life is refilled. You also have these roses that you can eat to regenerate your health, which is a lot like in Elden Ring, how you have those like potions and stuff that you can consume, and they refill themselves, but you only get 3 of them. That kind of deal. It's that kind of deal, but with flowers. And the thing is, though, that every time you save your game, the enemies also respawn. So It's not just that you can clear out a room, go save, and then go take out the boss. It's that you clear out the room, save, and then clear out the room again. So it's a game that revels very much in its high difficulty, which is kind of the style of the time right now. This is the onion in the belt of gaming today. So, buyer beware, you're in for a scare. But however, the aesthetics of this game are really outstanding. I love the look of everything. It's all grotesque, but in a way that's actually kind of fancy and cool. Great visual effects coupled with the 16-bit effects. A little bit reminds me of like the Final Fantasy Pixel remaster, how it's kind of like laying over like kind of modern effects, like over, a clearly pixely game. And the music is great. I sat there and listened to the title theme music for quite a while before I even started the game. So lots to love in this game. It's just, be ready to be spending a lot of time on this game, or else just kind of hanging it up forever as soon as you get stuck in a place where you think you can't get out.
Aki, do you have the Steam page for this game pulled up?
No, I do not.
Pull up the Steam page, then go to picture 8. And then you can determine whether or not she's cute.
I haven't even done this, so let's see. We're going to learn together.
Learn together and find out now. Picture 8 on the Steam page.
Dip, dip.
5.
Classroom project. Everybody turn to
You
page
talking
8.
about the menu picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh yeah, she's cute. She's very cute. Yeah, I approve.
Yeah, that's her. And like I said, you get these collectibles and stuff, which is kind of cool, and you can, upgrade things and stuff like that too. But like I said, it's not pure like level progression. And plus, I mean, the enemies scale up so much higher than you anyway. It's like you really are just kind of just working yourself towards, an even higher difficulty wall.
Upon seeing this, I do have a question.
Sure.
I noticed her outfit matches the same thing that's in the suit area. Are there other suits, and does it change what she looks like?
I haven't really gotten too much in like getting to other suits right in my gameplay because it's again a brutally difficult game. However, I believe so, but I think it's more like palette swaps than it is like
True
I don't know.
changes.
Get her in like skimpy swimsuit or anything.
I doubt this game has a skimpy swimsuit in it. Doesn't seem to have that vibe. But
No, it's 1999. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a buy it for folks who love like a deep challenge, who really like, really sweating over a boss that takes you all day to beat and stuff like that. There's already speed runs for that game out there, so that this game is like latched onto that crowd. For the casuals, I'm gonna say absolutely approach this with trepidation. This is not a Zelda game. It's not just something that once you figure out the boss pattern, you win. You really will be working hard to make some progress in this game. So just make sure that you're approaching it with that kind of attitude and that kind of work ethic, and I would call this a buy it. For everyone else, like I said, it's try it or just move on to something easier, man.
That easier thing is probably Plantera 2 Golden Acorn, developed and published by VaragtP.
Smooth.
Yeah, Transitions, released April 12th on Steam for $4.99. The Round Blue Meadows return to tend the garden the Round Blue Mellows return to tend the garden once more. I can't.
Just transition to Aki talking about the game.
Yeah, Aki, do that thing again.
Boobs. Okay. So, in this...
Developed and published by VaragtP, released April 12th on Steam for $4.99. The Round Blue Mellows return to tend to the garden once more, grow plants, bushes, trees, animals, water features, and the great magical oak tree that has been rumored to have been placed its seed there. Tend to the oak tree and grow it to the sky to harvest its golden acorns. Aki, tell us about Plantera 2 Golden Acorn.
Yeah, collecting those golden acorns isn't a euphemism, sadly. So, in this, you plant stuff. Realistically, that's all you really do. And this weird, large, blue-green creature shows up and starts automatically picking things up that drop for you. It's a really slow fuck, and it looks really sad constantly. Probably because it is really slow and all it does is pick shit up. I don't know. And every time it picks something up, you get a little bit of experience as well as some cash. And with the cash, you can buy new shit to plant, which is locked behind what level you are, which requires them to pick up stuff and get experience, as well as money. So, yay! It's a nice, almost circular thing of nothingness. And as you level up, you get access to new types of plants, be them ground plants like lettuce, carrots, turnips, radishes, etc., but there's also bushes that you can plant for like strawberries and blueberries and shit, and trees. Lots of big fuck-off sized trees. It's great. There's also some other miscellaneous things you can buy, like you can buy some different pet-like animals that allow you to collect their... Well, like, there's cats, they cough up furballs, and that's somehow worth money. There's llamas, you can get their wool from, things like that. As well as, there's occasionally guard dogs that you can buy, because sometimes animals will come by that want to eat your animals that produce various shit for you. And basically the dog guards just make them fuck off, which is fantastic.
I love how this is such like a wholesome family game, and you're like extra vulgar on this one. I love it.
I gotta be.
These fucking blue fucks are fucking.
Yeah, there's other things you can collect other than just the fruits and vegetables that are on all this shit. There's also butterflies that are just fucking about. You just minding their business, and you're like, no, I'm gonna catch you. You're worth $1. Okay. You're worth $5. I win. I'm bigger than you. And there's also fish that jump out of the water that you can catch in a net, as long as you can catch them while they're in the air. Because if they land in the water, they basically give you the big and middle finger and tell you to go to hell. Because there's no fishing minigame or anything. I'm so sorry for all of you who really wanted a fishing minigame. It's just not here.
I mean,
Get over it.
That's not the kind of game or experience that this is. Because this is.
Yeah, everyone loves fishing minigames and everything, though, and I know that's become a fact of life, so I just need to let them know there's no fishing minigame. The fish jump out. If you don't catch them in the net, fuck you. And, every few levels, you'll get another one of your little blue meanie-looking helper things that are so fucking sad. But the great thing about it is you can eventually buy hats for them, which don't actually make them any happier, but...
Simpsons episode where the guy's drinking with a sombrero.
Yeah, like, I don't really understand what the purpose of the hats are. It's just to make them look interesting, I guess, because they're not happier, they don't give you more experience or anything, so it's like, I don't know. It's just to be more festive.
Make them look
cool. Sure,
You're looking for a bit too much depth here, Aki. Pernell, what are your thoughts of Plantera 2?
Plantera 2 is more of what I liked about Plantera 1, being that it is a clicker that I should not like and should not enjoy, and yet if I start playing it, time just goes by. It just disappears. They give you more things to click, which I'm not complaining about. And I actually did kind of like the idea that I'm actually pursuing the specific goal of getting that, developing that golden acorn tree. So in that regard, it's just more of what I wanted. If anything, as odd as this is going to sound, my only gripe I had about the game was the fact that I was playing on the Steam Deck this time, which is heavier than a Switch, which meant I actually felt the weight of the console in my hands while I was playing it, which is why I wasn't able to be as absorbed in it as I was the first game. But otherwise, it did exactly what I was expecting it to do, which is, means that if you like clickers, you will like this game. Because it has that same addictive quality that the first one had, but with more content to add along with it.
Cool. Aki, anything else to add in?
Yeah, I thought it was a cute little game. It's not particularly hard to beat. I expected it to take a lot longer to get all the achievements in it, because I just naturally assume, like, clicker games, people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to play this for, on and off for the next, 2 years, just playing this thing continuously. But, I sat down and I beat it within, 7 hours of getting it, maybe, if that.
That in itself is a testament right there. You said it yourself.
You sat down and played for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Everything you just said about the game, and it's still wrapped up with, I played it for 7 hours. If that
I wanted all the achievements. Of course I was going to play until the end.
I wager if there weren't achievements, we can't prove this, but I wager if there weren't achievements, the same outcome would have occurred.
Oh no, because I got to where I was high enough level to have all the top tier stuff long before then, and I would have stopped at that point.
Now we just got to wait for updates to add more achievements, right?
Yeah, because you can expand your land mass so you can put more crap on it, and I barely did that in my game, just because I was like, I don't really need to. It's just more because your little blue people, they just kind of fuck about. You can't be like, oh, here, you're in charge of this small area. Take shit from these 3 plants and just stay here. No, they walk all around. So the larger of a plot of land you have, the longer and longer it takes for them to do anything, which means...
You gotta start shaking them trees yourself.
So it becomes less of an idle game at that point. The bigger your area is, the worse off it is as an idle game. Because all of these assholes are so slow.
See, that's the beauty. This isn't just an idle game. You could interact with it, or you could sit back and just let the game run itself.
True.
Exactly.
I like to let it run itself after a period of time. I like setting it up and then letting it do its thing. But
I like to sit there and watch it run for 7 hours while I build Gunpla.
I mean, I actually played a lot of this while we were doing our reviews last Thursday. So I was playing it that entire time.
Oh, it's $4.99. What did you think?
I'm for it. Fuck it. Why not?
Well, you already know where I'm at with it. It's an easy buy. Just know what you're getting into. It's a clicker, but it's a clicker that you're going to sit down through.
Cool. All right, next up is Hyper 5, developed by Hyper Productions, published by eastasiasoft, released April 12th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $9.99. Deep Space Scout Ship Hyper 5 has received a distress signal and heads into battle against an unknown threat. As a pilot on your own and facing nearly impossible odds, you'll need to survive more than 40 enemy types and massive boss encounters across the varied land, air, and underwater stages of planet 4GDT. Chris, what is going on planet 4GDT?
Some very creative naming there. Yeah, so this is a shmup, a shoot 'em up, where you are a spaceship against other spaceships that seem to outnumber you at every turn. This is a little bit of a game with a difference as far as like what one would normally expect in a shmup. So let's go over it. So Hyper 5, it's a side-scrolling horizontal shooter. However, it features, rather than kind of this 2D situation where you're a you're a 2D ship on a field with other 2D ships like shooting waves of bullets at you. It acts a little bit more 3D. Your ship kind of like pivots and turns as it moves up and down, which can create a little bit of a kind of a situation where you kind of have to get used to the controls because it's not like super like fast and tight like you would normally expect from one of these. But the trade-off is that the enemies aren't entirely coming at you with sheets of like bullets right away. You don't get that till a little bit later. The other interesting thing about this game is that it's very cinematic. So, like, when bosses come at you, for instance, like, the perspective of the ship may change to, like, this kind of first-person view, or, like, maybe a behind-the-cockpit, like, not behind the cockpit, but, like, behind the ship view, as it's, like, approaching, like, to turn around and shoot, like, the backside of the boss or something like that. But then the actual action flips back around to it being a horizontal situation. So it like, the camera kind of does weird things. It like takes control of your ship and stuff. The graphics are a little bit more like kind of realistic looking than, like I said, pixel art type of stuff that we're used to. But yeah, the other kind of interesting thing about this game is that sometimes the perspective will shift to the top of your ship, but instead of turning it into a vertical shooter, you're still going along the side, but it's still effectively horizontal. It's a little hard to describe, and I don't even think they quite figured out how to do it, but because it does create some weird situations. Because your ship is continually firing forward, right? But it's a top-down view and you're taking turns. So you're just taking turns without your ship turning and without you being able to turn the gun. So
weird.
And I've seen similar things in like older shooters that kind of mess with that stuff. But yeah, this game was like, when it did that, I was like, what? So I was kind of scratching my head at that one a little bit. Difficulty is not too bad on it, and in fact, this is unlike the last game I was talking about. This game does feature like quite a hardy upgrading system. It acts a little bit almost like a roguelite in that sense, is that you get a game over, have to start the game over, but you collect points throughout. Like you have a regular score, but you also collect points that are basically used to upgrade your weaponry, which is of course your. Like in Darius, it's like you have a standard shot. You also have a missile, which is a little more powerful but much slower. And then so you have those two, and you unlock them as you progress in the game. But even before you progress in the game, you can upgrade them using those points back in the armory, was what they call it. And so yeah, you can improve your loadout and then get even further, and then get more stuff unlocked, and then spend on that. And just looking at the points requirements for some of these upgrades, you'll be doing this quite a while. They really get up there in price, so it's kind of interesting that this game gives you that much to look forward to. And like I said, new weapons are unlockable through progress rather than through points, so that's kind of cool too. Plus, your ship can take quite a few hits. It's not one of those like one shot and you're dead. You actually do have an armor gauge, and you can improve it. Your ship starts off a little sluggish, but of course you can build on the speed as you spend those points. You can even purchase extra lives so that it's longer before you get a game over. The cool thing is too, you don't even have to get a game over. If you just quit the game with your points, you get to keep them, so that's kind of nice.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a pretty well put together shooter. Like I said, it's got some weird things. Oh, it does have one other thing. This is very, very minor, but it has one thing I've not seen in a shmup like this before. Your ship casts a shadow on the background. So, if you're
fancy.
Yeah, it's weird. If you happen to be in a spot where the light is hitting your ship, where it would cast a shadow, you can actually see a shadow there. So I've actually I thought that was pretty cool. Get some cool points there for you. It's probably the way they constructed the stages and stuff, but I still thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's not often you see lighting like that in a game like this.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I mean, it's not an overly fancy game. Like I said, it does have a few little stutters here and there. Sometimes the graphics, sometimes there'll be something that'll look a little weird, especially when it's transitioning to different camera angles. You might see some polygons kind of start glitching out. It also... I'm not going to say it suffers from any kind of frame rate issue on the Switch consistently, but it can get a little choppy if the screen gets too busy. I think that, that's not like, I don't think that has to do with the Switch port. I think that that's just the game. I've watched footage of the game and kind of compared, and it seems to be consistent. So, a shmup classically slows down when there's a lot of action anyway. It's just in this one, it actually drops frames, which is weird. But yeah, the minor complaints for the price of this game, so I'm not even going to dwell on it.
Well, it's only $10. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a cool one to check out. It's not a bullet hell, so, if that's your flavor, then don't worry about this one. But it does have a lot to offer. It's got a lot of replay because of the things you can unlock with it. Like I said, some of the guns are pretty radically different, so there's a lot of different ways to experience it. Yeah, this one is they tucked away a pretty good one here, so
Nice.
I'd say go ahead and check it out.
Cool. All right. We got one final game to talk about tonight. That is Renfield Bring Your Own Blood, developed by Megacat Studios, published by Skybound Games, released April 12th on Steam for $4.99. Slash and survive a typical workday as Dracula's overworked and underappreciated servant. You'll have a bloody good time as you rampage through New Orleans to find fresh victims for your narcissistic boss. Pernell, what is going on in Renfield Bring Your Own Blood?
One thing I want to mention, because I think this is what I feel like I came across while looking into more about this game after my time with it. But I think it's either an early access or they're just stating that they're going to add a lot more to the game. But
it's listed as early access, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 'cause that's very important for what I'm about to say. So this game is a movie tie-in to the film Renfield. I've never seen Renfield. It only came out last weekend anyway, so, I mean, I guess I haven't seen Mario. So
Looks funny as shit. Everybody. I want to see Renfield. It looks really good.
Oh, it does look good. I'm bad at seeing films, but I do like the look of this film. But with that said, having not seen Renfield, aside from the general idea of like him looking for victims for Dracula, I have no idea how this game ties into that movie, because this is a vampire survivor style game where you're being attacked by hordes of people in a variety of locations. You'll be getting attacked by like muggers, homeless people, gang members, monsters. It just depends on what the situation is. And I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, how in the world does this relate to the movie Renfield? But thankfully, though, the game itself is just fun because, again, it's using a tried and true formula, being the vampire survivors created, I guess what you call them, reverse bullet hell games, where you dodge all the bullets, but you don't fire. You just kind of auto attack everything. But that's the style of game this is. When you start on a stage, you are plopped down square in the middle into a room. Enemies start to spawn, and you're tasked with killing them. But you don't actually press a button to do the attacks yourself. The attacks flow off a timer. And initially, after you select Renfield as your character, your beginning attack is a Shadow Claw attack, which just kind of swipes in front of you. When you kill enemies, they drop bugs, and the bugs are what you pick up to gain experience. Once you've amassed enough bugs to level up, you'll get a choice between one of three options. And those options can revolve around either a new attack that can add to your, interval timed attack, rotation. You could get a modification to an attack you've already got, basically increasing its attack power, or decreasing its cooldown, or any number of things, critical hit damage, you name it. And aside from that, I think there's like one other type of thing that I just don't remember because I'm too busy just like, give me the next thing. Just hoping I get the vampire bat because that's the best attack the game has so far. But you'll just keep basically doing that. Eventually, once you clear a room full of monsters, you'll get the ability to choose what room to enter into next, which at this stage of the game, I don't know what that even means because I just feel like I just kept going from room to room until I found the victim with nothing making the rooms different otherwise. But that sort of thing might just be how my experience went, and maybe I didn't notice the changes that were occurring. But point is, you go from room to room, killing enemies, leveling up your character, getting new attacks, collecting money as well as experience point inducing bugs until you find the victim. At which point, you are given a choice whether or not to sacrifice the victim to Dracula to gain additional power, or to let the victim go and move forward without gaining any additional bonuses. However, no matter what choice you make, after you make this decision, a timer kicks in. Whereas in a lot of other some games, it's just the level ends when it's over, or in the case of Vampire Survivors, you just die when Grim Reaper kills you. In the case of this game, there is an actual end to the stages. However, between the victim selection moment and the final boss of the stage, you reach a point where your health starts to decrease on its own while you wait for a timer to tick down. And at this point, it gets a little rough because now you're being tasked with hopefully killing enemies as fast as humanly possible with your loadout you have at that time while looking for the final boss of the stage and then killing him. And let me tell you, the bosses can be absolute bullet sponges, resulting in you just dying from attrition because you just don't have enough health to last out the clock. But that's also partially by design, because once you've died official-like, you go back to the main screen, and you're able to go to an in-game shop to purchase upgrades for yourself. So you can you give yourself more attack power or more overall health, higher defense, and a couple other categories as well. And they each have a max rating of 5, though you'll plow through that stuff pretty fast with the current economy the game has. You can also purchase a few more attacks that can show up as options in your level up bounty, and eventually you'll be able to purchase new stages and new characters. Right now, the only stages you can purchase are 2 more levels that can be unlocked for purchase after you've beaten their previous levels. And you can't unlock any characters yet, but they're expected to come eventually. So, as it is with this game, it's an interesting predicament for it to be in, because graphically the game is beautiful, musically the game is beautiful, and though the attacks and their duration of cooldowns and such aren't as cool as I would say some of the others on the market have been thus far, I feel like the other things can at least kind of balance it out to make you see like, okay, I want to still see where this goes, especially because it's an early access. There's more to come. Yeah. They've acknowledged there's more to come. So at $5, while right now I would say, who am I kidding? At $5, this wouldn't be a big deal either, except again, Vampire Survivors kind of blew the door off of what $5 can get you, especially in a similar genre. But knowing that there is more to come, I want to at least say to keep your eyes on this product, because especially if the price point itself doesn't change, a few more additions, hell, even just giving me 2 more characters and 2 more stages, that may well be enough to be like, yep, this is a definite buy it. If you have already played Vampire Survivors and any number of Clones to Death and you still want more, then yeah, this is a good time to pick up anyway, because again, gameplay style is tried and true at this point, and it's a very, very beautiful game. So I guess I kind of answered the what would I suggest part already, but there it is.
Cool. Well, I guess that is it for this episode. We made it through.
Yay!
Hooray.
Jacob just linked me to the fact that Comic Book Gaming has linked us because of the whole One Step After Fall bullshit that's going on. Have you guys... There's a game, One Step After Fall, that released the game, and then a Windows version, and then it released a Spanish version, and then it released a Dutch version. All games that you could beat in like 15 minutes and get like 2,000 achievement points. And they've just been churning out these language stacks. And I made a comment like, hey, is anything going to be done? This is kind of overkill, isn't it? And the games were pulled. And now people have been like coming at me.
What?
They're like, why can't you
can just blame me. Don't mind.
Oh no, I'm having fun with it. I wonder if I have any messages that are new that I haven't read yet. Who cares? It's not the end of the world. Mind your business and let it be. And I just responded with the gif of Billy Crystal offering a Kleenex.
Not to mention the fact that you were minding your own business. I mean, I'm sorry that you said a thing that they heard and said, I guess we should do that. I think
it's funny as hell. Maybe we'll get some more listeners. Come on in, people.
Come on in.
We're happy to debate this stuff with you. Just get on.
Come on and join us. If the Bergson's Game Studios want to come on and explain to us why they think it's a good idea to have 5 of the same game and how that's not just blatantly like taking advantage of addiction with gamer score addiction, like fuck off.
Yeah, that's totally a me problem. Yeah.
There would be no logical reason for it. Let's be honest here. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from putting a language switch in the same game. But even with that said, they chose to stop doing it apparently, or pull it.
Oh no, it was pulled. My Xbox pulled them. So
yeah, Xbox decided no, that's not acceptable and got rid of it.
And it's my fault. So victory, I guess. Win for the SML podcast. Music this episode. Let's play another Mustin
closing
song.
Up before midnight.
Yeah, let's play another Mustin song. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
I stole this one from Chris DeGosh, but yeah, Mustin makes me feel good.